The following is a special presentation of the World Baseball Classic. Beginning tonight, San Juan's Hiram B. Thorne Stadium hits the trifecta as three-time host to the World Baseball Classic. Pool C play will feature what most are calling the best competition from the region's most powerful teams. Joining the fiesta, the newcomer team España, fresh off their dramatic win in the qualifier. The loss 4 years ago still stings, as Team Dominican was knocked out by losing twice to Team Netherlands.
Down goes the Dominican!
Looking to stay focused on their drive toward redemption will require all-star performances from Robinson Cano and the rest of a star-studded squad. The offensively stacked Team Venezuela, led by 2012 Triple Crown winner Miguel Cabrera, was one of the pre-tournament picks to make the trip all the way to San Francisco. But manager Luis Sojo needs to keep his team sharp and first get to Miami. It's a gran batalla from the start, with national pride on the line. Game 1, Pool C, from the baseball-hungry island of Puerto Rico, is next. From San Juan, we welcome you. Venezuelan fans on hand. They are ready to rock for their team, and lots of them, as they take on the Dominican Republic in the first game to be played here in Pool C with Puerto Rico and Spain, the other two teams who play tomorrow. Gary Thorne, Jose Mota, hi everybody. Great to have you with us, and what an opener here for the first game in this pool. Many said this is the game to put a line under before the WBC even started. These are two powerhouses.
Yeah, they are, but the main thing is, Gary, this whole island is abuzz because of this pool starting, and they could not have picked a better setting, Venezuela and the Dominican Republic. Now, with that being said, Pablo Sandoval for Team Venezuela told me down on the field, hey, you know what, we have a lot to prove, both Buckcliffe, and now it's time to play baseball.
It was a big sting for the Dominican to make it nowhere the last time around. They are 13th overall in the world. They finished 4th in the 06 and then eliminated in 09 in the first round 20 Major League players. Tony Pena is their manager, and they've got some all-stars.
They have new all-stars, and also they know that these guys here, a Robinson Cano, 7 MLB stars in their roster, a Jose Reyes, who is the igniter, and then you go to Holland Ramirez, power, speed, and the ability to confuse the opponent is right there in present for Tony Pena, but he needs to start immediately.
What a lineup Venezuela puts out. Luis Sojo said, I'll tell you one thing we're going to hit. They are ranked 8th overall. They finished in 06, the second round. In 09, they finished 3rd. 19 Major League players. Sojo's got a Triple Crown winner in the lineup.
Yes, and the better time could not have come for Miguel Cabrera. He is hot. 2 exhibition games before getting to Puerto Rico, 6 for 8, 7 RBIs. They're going to carry the load because they're stacked, but they know the number one guy is the guy playing in first base.
Sojo's concerned about whether or not his pitching will hold up. The Dominican Republic about whether or not they can overcome the sting of that last World Baseball Classic. We'll settle back as we're going to find out the answer to those questions. Venezuela and the Dominican Republic, Game 1 for Puerto Rico coming up. And we welcome you back as the team from Venezuela will be the visiting team in this ball game. The Dominican Republic at home here in Puerto Rico at Hiram B. Thorne Stadium on an 82-degree night. Some high overcast. Here's the lineup, and it's loaded. Andres, Cabrera, and Miguel, Sandoval, Gonzalez, Montero, Prado, Parra, and Scudero.
They're going to be tough to pitch to, and one thing that's going to be key, Gary, for the starter, Edinson Volca, is strikes early, but find out if they're chasing, maybe a little anxious, and you go from there.
Let's take a look at the starting pitcher tonight. And there he is. Lucas has had some big numbers. You see the 11-11 with a 4-1-4 with the San Diego Padres last season. Lifetime for the 29-year-old right-hander, 44 wins and 40 losses.
And he is welcoming this opportunity to pretty much use this, number one, to help the Dominican, Gary, and then kind of set the focus once again on throwing strikes, hearing a different voice, different scenarios, something where it counts, to where he can carry this into the regular season. But the pressure is right now to get it done.
And both managers saying, despite all the powerhouse in the lineup, you still got to play D and pitch. There's the defensive alignment. Anita Diarza and Cruz in the outfield. Ramirez, Reyes, Cano, and Encarnacion will be at first base. And Carlos Santana will be doing the catching.
Yeah, the main thing to pay attention to is the third baseman, Hanley Ramirez, who is supposed to be the Dodgers' regular shortstop. But Hanley, to accommodate all three shortstops, he moved over to third base. Keys for Venezuela, balanced performance. I'm talking about, of course, the lineup, but they need to catch the ball, and they need some help out of that bullpen. And for the Dominican, do not give this deep lineup additional opportunities to swing the bat. Get the ball, catch the ball.
Well, a very interesting matchup, obviously, and mentally it will have an impact on both of these teams as to who wins and loses, because they themselves view this game as being the best two teams in this tournament. Puerto Rico and Spain will have something to say about that. But certainly with all the talent on these two ball clubs, these are the two teams who are expected to be the class here in Puerto Rico.
I'll say the winner of tonight's ball game will go on to the next round.
And we're underway. Volquez will get the first pitch in for a strike. Here is Elvis Andrus, the outstanding shortstop, only 24 years old, has already made a name for himself in Texas, and he will be at short in this ball game. He's in the leadoff spot. Volquez, the off-speed delivery, will miss down low. For Edison Volquez, 11-11. He gave up 168 hits in 182 innings last year. That's a good number, but he walked 105, more than anyone else in the National League. And he said the key to my game is going to be control. Called strike. Ed Hickok's first base umpire said he went around.
You want to find out if there's intensity in this game? Third pitch of the game, and immediately Volquez says, get some help. Every pitch counts.
Every single one of them, because we'll show you the pitch limitations that will apply in the World Baseball Classic, and they are very important as to how you handle the pitching staff for all of these teams. And the 1-2 delivery. What a breaking ball. He hooked him and got him for a strikeout.
Boy, Volquez, even with the light rain falling, not affecting him whatsoever. Look at the downward spiral on this one. That is a tremendous break from a guy that depends so much on his changeup and utilizing something different for Team Venezuela against them here this early.
Volquez felt after his last start that he had all his pitches working already, and he was not going to have to reduce the repertoire at all, which is kind of surprising this early in the season. But the way he started out, it looks like he wasn't lying. Here's Cabrera. He's going to be the designated hitter. The left-hander Asdrubal Cabrera, the DH, batting second. They'll put a little shift on in the infield, and a strike taken on the inside corner.
Can you tell that we are in the tropics? Light rain, beautiful setting. The fans feel like it's a fifth inning already.
Bit of a haze has settled in, and there's the light rain that started during batting practice but was very light. This is the heaviest it has been today. And the pitch will be taken up high by Cabrera. Here's a look at our weather for game one here in Puerto Rico from under the umbrella. It's 76 degrees at the start of it, 24 Celsius. Very light wind, and the forecast is for rain. Right now there's hardly any wind at all blowing. It had been blowing out to right field earlier during BP. The fastball by Volquez is going to miss low and inside, and the count will go to 2-1.
For the fielders especially, the field turf obviously is going to create some problems. It's going to get a little quicker. Make sure you start with the baseball, especially get a good grip before releasing.
That one is put up in the air to left center field. He got a lot of it going back on the warning track, and hauled in. Nice play by Diarza. Got that lined up. That was not an easy play. About a couple of feet short of going to the wall.
You're right on the money with that one. The ball left the bat. I mean, I thought it was going to carry a little bit more. Funny thing is, you just talked about the wind being dead right now. But look at the concentration all the way from Diaza. Rain and all, nice catch.
So 2 down. You see already some water showing up on that warning track. He was right there at the wall, but he knew right where he was. Nice play. 2 down here in the first inning. Is Panda Bear. And that pitch is going to be foul back as Cabrera starts it out with a very big cut. Miguel Cabrera, what an unbelievable season, obviously, for him. How do you duplicate that?
This man is the main attraction here.
The Triple Crown winner, and it's going to be a little tough here with this rain coming down. For Cabrera, the 3rd time to the World Baseball Classic, and there have been only 3 of them, including this season. Takes the pitch up high and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Cabrera with the Tigers, American League MVP, the Triple Crown winner, 44 home runs included, along with that great average, and a year where he started hot and never stopped. And he asked for the timeout.
It's going to get a little tougher there for Volquez with the landing, the slope, getting all muddy down by his feet.
Here's the 1-1 delivery in the way. That ball is put up in the air, not deep in center field. Cano going back. He's called off. De Arcezan will put it away. Cabrera's retired, and for Volquez, a very good start as he sets the side down in order. Only 11 pitches thrown in that first inning. We'll take a look at the lineup for the Dominican Republic when we come back. Well, for the Dominican, a good start on the mound with Edison Volquez. Let's see what they can do at the plate. You look at this lineup, you got to believe it'll be a lot. Reyes, Ibar, and Cano, Encarnacion, Ramirez, Cruz, Santana, Nanita, and De Arza. A lineup that's got power, speed, balance.
And the main distraction, the 2 guys at the top. Reyes and Ibar can run, and they can set the table for the guys following. But they need to get on base because you can also run on Anibal Sanchez.
First and third will move in with Reyes leading it off, and his great speed already affects the defense, and a strike taken on the inside corner. Another 29-year-old on the mound, Anibal Sanchez.
Sanchez will use anything at any given count.
Reyes will take it down low for a ball, and the count will go to 1-1.
Last time the world saw Sanchez on the mound, he was dominating throughout postseason. 1.77 ERA in postseason for the Tigers.
That ball's going to be a base hit, and Reyes is on with a leadoff single. Here's the defense that we're going to see for Venezuela with Prado, Parra, and Gonzalez in the outfield. Sandoval, Andres Scudero, the veteran, and Cabrera and Montero, the fine young catcher behind the plate.
Now they're going to be tested immediately, and keep in mind, Montero is one of the best throwers behind the plate, and also lining up the middle of the defense. Elvis Andrus takes charge of that infield.
Well, they're going to play for the bunt. Sandoval has moved in at third base. Cabrera will hold the runner at first, and he does bunt off the plate. It's a beauty. Nah, not going to get him. Great backup by Scudero. Boy, that Scudero just saved a run and a lot of early problems as he backed up at first base. I think that'll be a single for Ibar.
Urgency. Ibar, one of the best butters in all of baseball, gets it down. Pressure's on immediately. You can see in the rush by Sanchez, took the ball away from the third baseman Sandoval and spiked it. And you're absolutely right. Marcus Scudero is a type of player that knows exactly where to be at any given time on the field.
There's so much room in foul territory here, Jose. If that ball gets away, 1 run scores and maybe 2, because to chase a ball down here in foul territory will take forever. There are a lot of outs to be had on pop-ups on both sides, first and third. A great chance early for the Dominican, and here is Robinson Cano. First and second, nobody out. He goes down the line. That is a base hit. Prado going to get it into the corner. Here comes Reyes. He'll score. Here comes Ibar. Being waved home. Double. 2 RBIs. 2-0.
Well, took 5 pitches from Sanchez for the Dominicans to do exactly this. Have the stage set up, the table setters and Reyes and Ibar, the pressure on the defense, and then the big man coming up immediately, not wasting any time. What a beautiful swing by Robinson Cano.
And a very early lead as he put that one in fair territory and then got it to roll foul into the corner. Reyes scoring easily, and so did Ibar, really. Now a runner at second base and a strike taken by Encarnacion. So Cano starts it out big time and really sets the house afire here with all the Dominican fans that are on hand. That pitch is going to be taken up high for a ball.
Here, and anytime we talk about the Dominican, cannot forget what happened here in 2009. And scoring early is going to take a heavy load off everyone's shoulder in that dugout. It still stings.
Yes. That ball is bounced. It'll be handled and stopped by Montero to hold Cano at second base. He's going to have a word now with Sanchez to just try and settle him down a little bit here in the first inning, as he's kind of gotten rocked before he's had a chance to realize what's going on. Cano out there with the raindrops falling behind him. And ahead on the count, Encarnacion, and they are up and cheering in the dugout. That ball is going to be put up in the air and foul. Even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
One thing we learned from Tony Pena, the Dominican manager, this morning too, Gary, is the balance that he has throughout the lineup and the options that he has to create havoc. Exactly that's happening right now.
Dominican Republic felt in 09 and maybe in 06 as well, they were too loaded with power hitters. And the coaches talking with them yesterday told me, you know, power hitters take a while to get the perfect stride down. They've got to have the perfect timing. You take contact hitters, they can get into the game a little earlier in the season than power hitters can. So they tried to structure this team with a little more balance. Give it some run, give it a little contact, give it some power, give it some speed. 2-2 delivery up high. And Encarnacion could not hold up on that one, and he is struck out by Sanchez. So there's the first out recorded here in the inning, and Ramirez coming up with Cano still on at second base. Hanley Ramirez. Cano at second base getting a good lead, and we welcome all of you who are just joining us. For those of you watching the Italy-Mexico game, ground ball towards short. Andrus going to go to third, and not in time. They do not get Cano. So the defensive decision by Andrus to go to third base for the lead runner does not work, and Ramirez reaches.
There's many ways in which you can put pressure on the defense. Remember, I was just talking about the wet baseball on this field turf. Maybe not the smartest decision by Robinson Cano, but what affects the throwing here is the wet infield turf where Andrus cannot get a grip on it. Look at that ball slip out.
It has been raining now since the game started and couldn't get the out, and Sanchez obviously wanted that. Boy, a tough first inning. Runners at first and third, fielder's choice for Ramirez, and here's Nelson Cruz. Cruz with an RBI opportunity early. A couple of runs on the board on the 2 RBI double by Cano here in the first inning as the Dominican Republic has come out swinging their bats, and they get the early lead in this big matchup against Venezuela.
There's a lot of things going the right way right now for the Dominican Republic, and they know the pressure is on, the urgency is on to continue on. Take advantage of it now and capitalize.
And those of you who were watching, or those of you who weren't, Italy has upset Mexico in that ball game 6-5. And Mexico had the bases loaded and could not get the tying or winning run in their last at bat. Big swing and a miss by Cruz. Gary Thorne and Jose Mota with you here in Puerto Rico, where it did not rain all day. It was a beautiful day, but once the game started, so did the rain. And it has continued to come down. And one of the things that's a major concern in every situation in the World Baseball Classic is protecting the players from injury. That's going to be a base hit by Cruz. Robinson Cano will score. Ramirez goes to second base, and the Dominican Republic's got a 3-0 lead.
Look at that dugout on the first base side along with the fans, and it feels more like it's the 8th inning right now. That's the sense of urgency they're bringing into this very first inning. Cruz, you see Montero setting up. The pitch is up but not high enough. And Cruz gets a good job using the top hand and driving the ball to his pull side.
Anibal Sanchez having a very tough first inning. Just not locating the pitches where he wants to. And a pitcher who generally gets more ground balls than fly balls. Right now, the balls are up in the delivery, and the balls are up when they're being hit. As they're spanking line drives here, the Dominican Republic. So a meeting at the mound here. Try and settle Sanchez down. And it already gets tough for Venezuela when it comes to deciding what you do with your pitching, because they've got an early decision to make here about Sanchez. If he gives up one more hit here, they may have to get somebody up in the bullpen, and you really don't want to do that in the first game.
There's a lot going because you don't have the luxury of using somebody early and stretching him 5 or 6 innings.
Yep. Carlos Santana, runners on at first and second base. Sanchez delivery to him is going to be up high for a ball. There are the numbers on Santana, the 5'11", 200-pounder who can put it around in all fields. They swing the outfield around a bit towards right field. And you see how Sanchez, whether it's the ball being wet and slipping, whatever it is, his pitches are, if they're in the strike zone, they're up in it. And if they're not, they're up and out. Nothing has been down. 3-0 count. See if he gets the green light early in the ball game. Santana will take it. He had nothing to swing at. And the bases are loaded. Now, we talked about, Jose, the rules that are so important regarding pitchers in the WBC.
The most challenging aspect for managers is exactly this: how your starters, or you cannot throw more than 65 pitches per game in that first round. And certainly you got to wait in between days. You got to learn who you have that can maybe throw consecutive days for you, when to use them, when not to use them, and so many goes into play that make you decide whether to stay away from a guy or not.
And we are going to get a rain delay. There is no way they're going to take a chance on having field conditions that could result in any kind of danger to the players. So unfortunately, a rain delay, which as far as Venezuela is concerned, maybe that's okay. Take a break here, and then they'll get to come back out and start out all over again, with the Dominican Republic leading it by a score of 3-0. Reyes led it off with a single. Eric Ibar a single on a bunt. Then Cano slashed a double down the left field line for 2 RBIs. Encarnacion struck out. Ramirez got the fielder's choice. The Cruz single brought in another run, and then the Santana walk has loaded them up. That's how the first inning has gone for the Dominican.
Gary, no doubt, this looks like a team that just a couple of days ago banged out 28 hits against the Phillies in an exhibition game in Florida, including getting the great compliment from Cole Hamels saying, Whoever faces this team in the WBC better mix in their pitches. Prophetic words or what?
Well, Tony Pena told us this morning the Dominican Republic in both 06 and 09 in the WBC felt they did not do the job that they came to do. And Pena felt that, in fact, in 09 the team wasn't ready, that there were too many players who came just to enjoy the opportunity of the WBC, but not ready to win it. And this time around, he told us a great story this morning, Jose. He said, I went around the locker room when it was closed, and I had every player stand up and answer the question, why are you here? And his pitching coach said, some of us were crying. Guys were standing up and were saying, we're here to win. We are here to play as a unit. There'll be no more grumbling about not playing. Stars in the past with the Dominican have been on the bench and thought they should play and said so publicly, and all that stuff got going. Pena said, we're not going to have any of that this year. And the players seem to have come ready. I mean, if this is any evidence of what they're going to be doing here in the tournament, then they are going to be a very dominant team.
And Tony clearly put it to us. He accepted the challenge of managing this team because he says, I will never say no to my country. I know the players. I know what they're all about. And also he said, you know, the guys that committed early never wavered. He goes, and I appreciate that very much. Take the case of Hanley Ramirez today. As you talk about all-stars moving to accommodate the roster and the lineup, Hanley Ramirez at third base tells you exactly what this team has made, how they're thinking, and additionally, how they're going to make it a little bit easier on Tony by just accepting the role and moving on.
He was Tony was funny this morning talking about everybody on board, and he says we're going to play some street ball. And what he meant by that was that he feels his club is very relaxed, that they are ready, they're anxious, they want to win, they know they're good and they want to show it. And you're seeing that kind of relaxed approach here at the plate already in the first inning of this ballgame.
Gary, you were here in 2009, but I can tell you that for 4 years, you don't even have to be a baseball fan of the Dominican. If you're a player, if you're involved with baseball, the word embarrass still resonates. Why? Because they lost to the Netherlands, a very good ball club, by the way, but it hurt so much that they're more careful as to who got called to play and also how they managed to reassess the roster when guys were falling due to injuries. And one of the things that really stood out to me is Moises Alou is the general manager. He knows the game. He sends a straight message. Former All-Star. Alou played in the World Baseball Classic twice, so he knew exactly the type of player he wanted. Now, we're not declaring victory here, but what we're saying is you can see there's a different vibe in that clubhouse. On the plane ride, I understand, and what we're seeing so far here this first inning.
You saw Bill Castro standing there talking to Tony Pena. He is handling the pitchers. He's the bullpen coach for the Baltimore Orioles. He's talking to Pena, and I guarantee you what this discussion is about right now is, all right, what are we going to do? How long are we going to wait in a rain delay and still bring our starter back? If we don't bring him back, are we going to go to the bullpen very early? If we do, who's the long man going to be in this game? So they're trying to work that out right now. And with the rain coming down and the field covered, this is obviously going to be, to some degree at least, a substantial delay.
And both Luis Sojo, manager for Venezuela, and Tony Pena use the word protecting the players very clearly to us too. Yes, it is about winning, but they also understand the responsibilities that come with getting players to compete, but also players are still getting ready for the regular season with their ball clubs.
All right, we are in a rain delay in the first inning with the bases loaded. The Dominican Republic already has put up 3 runs on the board. They have the 3-0 lead. We'll be back and assess where we are. And we welcome you back here in Puerto Rico, where the tarp has been taken off the field. It has stopped raining. They're putting the drying agents down, and Eric Cooper, the home plate umpire, along with his crew, meeting with the managers behind home plate. Luis Sojo, I'm sure, blaming Tony Pena for the rain, and had Pena laughing down there during the meeting. The managers obviously have made their decisions on what they're going to do with their starters. This rain delay was about couple minutes before 8 o'clock, so it's going to be over a half hour before we get going again, and that's a long time for a starter to have to wait. and it looks like starters are going to be out of the ball game, and they're going to have to go to the bullpen here in the first inning.
Yeah, and there's the right thing to do considering how much is at stake here, and the delay the pitch is already made, being that it's still the first week of March. And you have the roster depth, and that's why you got to think ahead in so many ways here, Gary, as to how you're going to match up the pitchers and who's the long man who you're going to have to sacrifice to perhaps not use again.
Fredo Griffin, coach, and Alvarez and Soho talking about all of this. I mean, you make all contingency plans as a manager. Every manager does for every baseball game, who your long man's going to be if you have an emergency early on in the game. But as we showed you with the rules as to the pitch count limits here in the WBC, it's even more important that you not have to go into that bullpen early, and you couldn't go to the bullpen much earlier than what's happening here in this game because we're still in the first inning. So we'll see what the decisions are going to be. For Edison Volquez, an outstanding start on the mound as he began it with a strikeout of Elvis Andrus. He got Cabrera, the DH, as Drupal Cabrera on the fly ball to center field, and then a shallow fly ball by Miguel Cabrera. 11 pitches and he was out.
Oh, you can see how economical he was and how he executed pitches driving down with a back leg. Only 11 pitches, so there's got to be a sense of frustration right now with Volquez settling in, knowing that he was rolling so well there in that first inning.
Yeah, that is that's a tough one. The only saving grace is that with only 11 pitches thrown, he could come back and pitch again day after tomorrow. They don't play tomorrow, so he could come back and pitch. But most of the managers here in the WBC, when you talk about their starters, they really do not want to use their starters other than on a normal 4 days rest, 5-day rotation, no matter how much they pitch or don't pitch.
Yeah, for the second game, Tony Pena has slated Samuel Deduno to pitch, and then for game number 3, he has a lefty Wandy Rodriguez set up for right now, as he just said.
Pena went all the way down to the bullpen, I think, to check and see if his pitcher is going to be ready to go, and check with the bullpen coach down there. Pena's been up and down. There's Moises Alou, who's helping to run this team from the administrative side of it. A former great Major League Baseball player and a member of that great Alou family. Moises on hand here as the general manager of this ball club, and trying to help Tony Pena a little bit, I think, in exactly where they are. Tony's been through all of this before, but that doesn't make it any easier because these decisions start piling up on you and affect what's going to happen in the rest of the tournament.
It doesn't, and one thing that really helps, Gary, is that Tony Pena, former catcher, he understands what it takes out of a pitcher to go through a situation like this. And Moises Alou experienced a World Baseball Classic as a player, also a successful big league player. So they're not just thinking the administrative side, it's also thinking about the safety of the player, getting them ready. And Moises is a guy that's pretty intense, and he understands that he's going to be very bold with his message. He wants to make sure he is heard, but also he knows that Tony Pena knows very well on how to manage a ball club like this.
I laugh watching them. What we were talking about this morning, both Tony and Luis Soho, we asked them about, has the phone been ringing? Have you heard from Major League managers? Major League managers obviously very concerned about the players they have participating in the WBC, and both of them kind of smiled and said no, but wait till tonight and the phone will start ringing. I'm wondering right now how many phone calls Moises Alou is taking from some of the ball clubs who are wondering about, hey, wait a minute, don't put Volquez back in. Wait a minute, don't use our guy long here. We don't want him pitching that much early on in the tournament. I mean, those things go on. You don't hear much about it, obviously, but they're legitimate concerns the major league teams have about their players, and it's one of the things that, in Alou's case as a GM and Pena and Luis Soho as managers have to deal with. They have to respond and talk to the managers about how they're using those players.
That's about open communication, and here's right-hander Angel Castro, whom we knew from the beginning was going to play a bigger role than maybe anticipated, and here we go again. We had a chance to talk to Tony and ask him about Angel Castro this morning, and he said, that's the one guy that I did not want to start. Gary, who would have thought this was going to happen this early? Those cats were getting ready to come in.
All right, we've had a rain delay of about 38 minutes, but we are getting ready to start. Players are out loosening up again, and they put the drying agent down on the field, and it has stopped raining. Bases loaded, first inning. Dominican Republic at the plate, already leading it by a score of 3-0. And when we come back, hopefully, we'll be playing baseball. Gary Thorne, Jose Mota, we welcome you back. Puerto Rico, the site. This is Pool C of the World Baseball Classic 2013. First game in this pool play, Dominican Republic and Venezuela, with Spain and Puerto Rico set to go tomorrow. Luis Sojo's ball club getting battered around in the first inning already, trailing by a score of 3-0. Venezuela will make a change in their pitching as expected. And over on the other side, for Tony Pena, he just hopes they can keep on hitting. They've already sent 7 men to the plate, and there's only 1 out, and they put 3 runs up on the board.
And the key is, they've had the big base hit, obviously, Reyes, Cano, Cruz, but they have capitalized on the error by the pitcher Sanchez himself on the sacrifice by Ivar. Also, the bat throw by Elvis Andrus. So, just in 20 pitches in 1/3 of an inning, Gary, we've seen what Tony Pena wanted to see at least in a 9-inning game when it comes out to taking advantage of the opponent.
Yep, they have exactly done that. And now we'll take a look at the left-hander as Sanchez is out of there, responsible for the 3 runners who will be on. He works only a third of an inning, gives up 3 hits, a strikeout, and a walk. And here is Cesar Jimenez, who's worked in AAA ball.
Jimenez has always had the good arm, but he is erratic. He can get the ball by hitters with a fastball, especially when it's elevated, but I don't think at this point, if I'm Miguel Montero, I'm going to be calling for any elevated fastballs at this point.
He went 2-2 with a 5.24 ERA, pitching in 26 games between the Arizona League and AAA Tacoma last year. He signed a deal with the Phillies in December. So the left-hander, 28 years old, comes on in a very tough situation. Dominican Republic's got to get their people out. The home plate umpire is still meeting. Pena and Griffin are out there. I don't know what they're asking about, but it's delaying the restart of the game. I have no idea.
To see Alfredo Griffin, first base coach, involved in this conversation really shocks me. And Tony Pena keeps looking into his dugout.
He's got all 3 of his base runners out there. Emily Ramirez, the lead runner in the fielder's choice. Nelson Cruz, who got a single and an RBI, and Carlos Santana drew the walk. So they're all out in their stations, and I just don't know. I don't know what or who Pena is looking for. Eric Cooper, the home plate umpire, was in on that meeting.
Well, the plot thickens. There's Alfredo Griffin.
There you see Cooper, Hickox, Paul Hyam, and Jesus Miller are the umpires in this game. And international flavor will be not only with the players but also with the umpires.
We're also conferring with Bob Watson right now.
Bob representing Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball has somebody from the front office in all of these pool sites to answer any questions or issues. Bill Castro is the pitching coach. He's talking with him. And now Watson's going to confer with the home plate umpire.
So many conversations all the way around, but the most animated one is happening at second base. With the teammates, Andrews and Cruz over there, whipping at people in the stands and having fun with it.
I don't know. I mean, it looks like somebody's missing, but I don't know who that would be. I just don't know.
Nobody went back to the hotel, right?
Yeah, maybe they got caught up here in the refreshment stands during the rain delay.
Maybe there's a set of rules we need to learn about.
I don't know. Fredo Griffin's going over now to the Venezuela dugout. First base coach for the Dominican Republic, and talking to Luis Sojo, the manager of Venezuela. And obviously, nobody's particularly concerned with any depth here. It's just somebody's not where they're supposed to be.
It just sounds to me like a technicality at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see whether or not this swings this game back a little bit towards the middle. I mean, you have the Dominican Republic bats red hot and rolling, swinging, a lot of pitches up high by Sanchez. And then this rain delay, which is going to be closing in on close to an hour before we get going here. Whether or not that kind of moves things back a little bit and maybe gives Venezuela a chance to regroup and get back into this game. I mean, what they need right here is that ground ball double play to get out of this inning and stop it right here.
One of the concerns for me, if I'm Luis Sojo, is make sure Jimenez is still throwing some pitches off of that mound, to get more of a footing and understand exactly how he's going to land, the slope, everything that comes with it, and making sure that he stays loose.
Maybe they needed a ball boy. And Tony Peña's now the ball boy.
Wait a minute.
Honest to gosh, he's bringing out baseballs to the home plate umpire, Eric Cooper. And these balls may not be baseballs that have been properly rubbed up with that great Major League mud. That would be something if that was the problem. Peña's getting a little perturbed now. He wants to get this thing going. And Bob Watson has stepped back in. You see him rubbing up the baseball. That may be the problem, that they've lost. Whoever had the baseballs is not here. Is that possible? See, watch here. Watson's. That's what they're looking for. Are baseballs. I love it.
Are they using the right ones? Comes to play here too.
That's great. There they are. We found some. But see, they're in their own bag. Nope, they've got a new box. They got a box of baseballs. So those are new balls that probably have not been rubbed up. Find some mud.
And they have the World Baseball Classic logo.
Oh, that is so good.
Question is, where did this all start? That's what I'd like to know.
I don't know. That is the first baseball game delayed that I've ever seen by lack of a baseball. There was, I wish I could remember the date. There's the ball boy. He's got the bag.
Maybe those are the rubbed ones.
That's funny. That is really funny. There was a baseball game played a long time ago where one baseball was used for the entire game. I mean, it was back at the turn of the other century.
Gary, it's not happening here, buddy.
It's not happening here. But can you imagine using one baseball for a 9-inning game? And it was at a time when fans used to be on the field. They'd be in the outfield, surrounding the field and everything. And when a ball was fouled off or hit into the crowd, they'd throw it back in.
Throw it back.
And throw it back, and they played the whole game with one baseball.
If the fans wanted to watch a game, they needed to throw the ball back.
We need that baseball right now, right here. Where's the Hall of Fame? Bring that thing down here.
Now, will these baseballs favor Venezuela or will they favor still the Dominican? We shall see.
That's going to be a big story after the game explaining that one. All right, here we go. Long rain delay. Dominican Republic leading it by a score of 3-0. We're in the bottom of the first inning. Cesar Jimenez has come on to do the pitching for Venezuela. Nanita's at the plate with the sacks full. In at third base, Sandoval, and they're in at first. And the pitch will be taken on the outside corner for a strike, and we are back underway. 8:48 local time. The rain delay started at 7:58. Now a substantial delay resulting in the pitching change. Nanita with a big opportunity. Outfield's moved in a couple of steps. And he'll take the pitch outside from the lefty.
Well, Ricardo Nanita was a prime example of a guy that had a successful winter ball season. Very good in the Caribbean Series. Good contact hitter and good player overall.
31-year-old outfielder. And he'll foul that one off. He played for Las Vegas in the Pacific Coast League. Hit .306 in 93 games for the AAA affiliate of the Blue Jays last year, after a .363 average in 51 games played in 2011. So he's put up some minor league numbers that have been pretty impressive, and a veteran minor league player.
This one, Anita will look middle away here.
Bases loaded. 1-2 delivery. Anita puts it to right field. Gonzalez over. Runner tagging Ramirez. Here's the throw to the plate, and they got him by the country mile, and there's the double play they needed. Does that turn this baseball game around? As Gonzalez makes the throw, Ramirez tagging up, trying to score, is out at the plate, and maybe the rain delay and this play changes everything. We'll see. First inning, 3 runs in, 3 hits, and an error. Dominican Republic leading at 3-0. Well, what a start this has been to game 1 here in Puerto Rico at 3-0 after the first inning, and a long rain delay and a inning-ending double play.
There's absolutely no way I'm going to take that chance with Gonzalez charging in. Look at the perfect one-hopper, and Holly Ramirez has to play it safe. But you know what? Who knows? This might hurt the Dominican later on. But that's a risk that I certainly would not have taken at that point of the game.
Well, that's a potentially even bigger inning that goes by the boards on that play. Angel Castro, a 31-year-old right-hander coming out of the bullpen, came to the ballpark, I got to believe, not believing he'd be pitching.
But as Tony Pena told us, at any given moment, I'm going to go to him. He just didn't know it was going to be in the second inning.
Pitched in Japan for those 3 games you saw. Here's Pablo Sandoval, and he'll take it outside for a ball. Well, the big star, World Series, Sandoval, the much loved in San Francisco, batting in the cleanup spot. Carlos Gonzalez and Miguel Montero, they're due up. That one will be fouled off on the third base side.
Well, the NFL's not played in the Dominican, but Ray Lewis might have a little competition in Castro when he takes him out. Watch this.
See, if I tried that, there'd be 5 body parts that would need immediate surgery. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and Sandoval puts it down the line and left. This is a long run in foul territory. Diving and caught it! Nanita in left field with a long way to go. Makes a great diving catch, and Sandoval is retired.
And Anita, tremendous range. Going to his right. Boy, that long glove comes in handy, doesn't it? Outstanding range for Anita.
Well, we told you there's a lot of foul territory, and that includes going down the line, so outfielders have a chance to get over there and make plays, as he just did, and Sandoval is retired. Here's Gonzalez. Carlos Gonzalez making the play in right field. To end that last inning, he will foul that away off Castro. And the count goes to 0-1.
Gonzalez, multi-talented player. And we already saw one of those tools in gunning down Holly Ramirez, attempting to score there on the fly out to right field.
We've seen rain delays affect more than one ball game that turns things around, and sometimes the button gets flipped off offensively and you can't turn it back on again. Castro with some pretty good heat right there, and the count will go to 0-2.
Castro's been around the game of baseball a long time, but he has never really gotten an opportunity to gain a spot at the big league roster. Now he does have 92 to 96, pretty sharp slider and a big heart out there on the mound.
And the pitch is taken away. He was originally drafted in 2006 by the Detroit Tigers, but he last worked in a North American game in 2010 for the Independent League Lincoln Salt Dogs. He had 6 starts, went 3-3. I mean, he's not had a lot of competitive pitching over the last 3 years. Fastball inside just misses. Count goes to 1-2. It's obvious he is not lacking, however, for getting involved in the game. And they really want to get some innings out of him, having to take the starter out. Volquez working an inning, getting a strikeout and giving up nothing. 2-2 delivery on the way, and the breaking ball will miss up high. And the count goes to 3-2.
You know, Gary, what could change is if Tony Pena maybe was thinking about keeping him under 40 pitches. Maybe he does it now.
I agree with you. I think you let him go the full 50 if he can get there. The limit in this first round, let him, if he's effective, let him go. 3-2 delivery on the way, and the chopper and a good sinker. Encarnacion will go to the bag himself. Gonzalez, second out here in the second inning. Big crowd on hand. Hiram Beathorn Stadium holds about 20,000, and it's not full. Some empty seats way up there in the red, but there are a lot of folks on hand, and they did not go away in this rain delay. This is a much anticipated game, even though their home team from Puerto Rico's not playing. A sellout crowd tomorrow, and in fact all of the games that Puerto Rico's playing in have already been sold out, as the teams play a round-robin format with 2 of the 4 moving on, as everybody gets, the 4 teams get a chance to play against one another. Here is Miguel Montero, and Montero will take the pitch away for a ball.
Well, keep in mind too that for the Dominicans, this is almost like playing a home game. There's close to 500,000 Dominicans here in Puerto Rico, and many were coming from outside of San Juan to watch this ball game.
Around town today, there were a lot of jerseys that were supporting Venezuela that you could see on the streets with a lot of fans on hand. I always love coming here. I mean, the excitement here is just unbelievable. The fans that come for whatever team they cheer for, they get so involved in the game and they have so much fun. And these players the same way, taking it seriously because it means so much to them, for these ball clubs, especially coming from the Caribbean, to be able to play for their home colors. Fastball by Castro is going to miss outside, and the count will go to 2-1.
If you watch Castro closely on his load-up, there's something that he learned by pitching in Asia. He'll do a double tap with his right foot, and he learned is to regain balance and stay over the rubber.
Montero, big year with the Diamondbacks, 286, 15 homers, 88 RBIs. Fastball not missing by much. So that's some pretty good heat. And the count will go to 3 balls and 1 strike, and 2 down on Montero.
Well, something Castro has done already with these 3 hitters is establish inside. And with as deep a lineup as this is, you better establish inside early.
Yeah. 3-1 delivery on the way. That ball's going to go to left field, and that's going to be a base hit. Off the carpet, Montero's got a single. Venezuela's got their first base runner of the ball game.
Miguel Montero, solid all the way around. Here's what made him so productive last year, close to 90 RBIs. Waiting the ball, allowing the ball to travel, and pushing it with his arms, especially his backside with those legs.
He's on with 2 down. Martin Prado will stand in. Prado playing in his first Baseball Classic, hit .301 last year, 10 homers, 70 RBIs with the Diamondbacks. Signed a 4-year contract extension with the D-backs in January following the trade from the Braves. And the pitch, a breaking ball, will be taken outside for a ball.
Manager Luis Sojo saying Prado is perhaps his most complete player. And no offense against anybody, but he says, I can play him in 7 spots defensively. I can hit him first through 5th, and he knows and understands what it takes to be successful.
He's had some great years with the Braves. He'll try and continue with the Diamondbacks. Castro's pitch is up high. Didn't like the look to that one, and Carlos Santana's going to go out and have a word with his battery mate.
You know, going back to Prado, Chipper Jones, is recently retired Braves great, said one of the things that's going to be missed about Prado is his clubhouse presence in Atlanta. And Chipper himself said he served as that bridge between players, sometimes between the music in the clubhouse, uniting everybody, and those things over the long run are very important. So Kirk Gibson mightily happy to have Prado in his clubhouse now with the D-backs.
Things that really matter. Traded to the D-backs. There were 4 others involved for Justin Upton and Chris Johnson in January. 2-0 count, 2 down. Montero on at first base. Angel Castro's fastball. Breakaway on that one's going to miss outside, and the count goes to 3-0. There is the potential for one or both teams in this game to have a nightmare for the managers, and that's if you get 2 or 3 pitchers who come on in this game who aren't effective, and you're in the 2nd or 3rd inning. I mean, that really messes up everything. And Castro right now can't find the strike zone. There are 2 on with 2 down. Prado draws the walk.
Well, Tony Pena and now Bill Castro will head out there as pitching coach. Really hoping that Angel Castro on the mound doesn't start figuring out how did I get the first 2 outs and then start thinking. And it's very common with guys competing at this level.
All of the best pitching coaches always use that line, don't they, Jose? They go to the mound and they say, stop thinking.
Trust your stuff.
There you see the counter right there, that 18. That's how many pitches have been thrown by whomever happens to be on the mound. It is so important that that counter is there. And they also have somebody representing Major League Baseball just outside the dugout who confirms those numbers with the pitching coach and the manager. They do not want to make a mistake on the pitches thrown and overuse somebody.
You saw the 18 by Castro. You also saw the 6 by new Venezuelan pitcher Jimenez.
So runners at first and second, and a chance for Venezuela to get right back into this game. There's Bill Castro, pitching coach, keeping track of all of this. Here is Parros playing in center field. 2 on and 2 out. And the pitch is taken on the inside corner for a strike.
Parros, one of those gritty players on this roster. Productive all the way around as a big leaguer.
Played in the 2009 World Baseball Classic. Couple of runs, 6 games, hit only 111. Venezuelan native. Runners off first and second base. Here's the 0-1 delivery. And that breaking ball is going to catch the outside corner, so the discussion held with the pitcher changed things immediately.
That was a big pitch right there because William Castro goes out there and says, remember, you have more than the fastball. Start using it. Excellent location. Great framing job there by Carlos Santana.
So Castro with an 0-2 count. Montero and Prado with their leads. Outfield straight away. That'll be sent third base side. And will end up as a souvenir back in the seats. And the count will remain at 2 strikes.
This says playoff everywhere right now. And I am convinced the winner of this game, this first game in this pool, will advance.
And I'm convinced that the loser of this first game, as good as that loser is going to be, is going to struggle mentally the rest of this pool play. Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way. Almost got away. Santana going up. Looked like Castro overthrew on that one, trying to find the fastball to get by him. And the count goes to 1-2.
Gary, thinking.
Stop it. Stop thinking. Just throws strikes. Where's Ray Miller when you need him? A 1-ball, 2-strike count with 2 down. Shortstop swung around to second base, playing him to pull on the ground. Got one on the inside part of the plate. Long run over towards the dugout. It'll be behind it. Count stays at 1-2.
You talk about the defensive side. You know, I think Cano right now is way too far over to his left. And so is a shortstop, right? It's now Parra will spray the ball around, and as hard as Castro's throwing, I would sacrifice a couple of steps by both the shortstop and the second baseman to the right.
See if he takes advantage of that big hole between short and third. Parra hit .273, 7 home runs with the Diamondbacks last year. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Took a little off that pitch. It'll miss outside, and the count goes to 2-2. For somebody like Castro, there are lots of themes that get played out in the World Baseball Classic. Castro's a guy who doesn't have a real home. He's trying to show that he can pitch to major league hitters and maybe earn himself a position somewhere, if not with a major league team, at least with an organizational minor league club.
And right now,
there are a number of those pitchers, players in this WBC trying to do that.
Castro right now a member of the Dodgers organization because of how well he pitched in winter ball. But consider, you talk about Pedro Martinez came into this tournament last time trying to get a job. Established names.
Was one of the big stories. He played so well. 2-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way. Check inside. So 3 balls, 2 strikes. Montero at second. Prado at first will be running. It's a big at bat early in the game. With Venezuela down 3-0. A base hit here has got a chance to score a couple.
And now defensively, different story. He's seen way too many pitches, and I think Castro still wants to get him inside.
See where he goes with it. 3-2. Runners go. Ball put up in the air to left field. And Anita is over. It is in foul territory and puts it away. So Angel Castro comes back to get the out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 are left on base. We go to the bottom of the second. 3-0 Dominican Republic.
The Dominican Republic early lead, but here's what happens when you get 2 of these fun teams together. Miguel Cabrera flashing those muscles, and the big smile. Who would ever wipe it away from Robinson Cano? But much love shown here in this game 1. Dominican early lead, and look what Cabrera does, though. He goes, hey, you really want to see my muscles? I'm going to take my sleeves off.
Talking with Alfredo Griffin over there as he gets set for the bottom half of the second inning. Don't you just love it? They come here early, dine around the ballpark, have some family time, friends time, and then settle in for the ball game. And that's the way it will be for all the games that are played here in Puerto Rico.
So a little rain is not going to bother this crowd.
Alejandro Diaz will lead it off in at third base, and I mean way in. Sandoval. And the pitch will be taken for a strike. There is Sandoval trying to take that bunt opportunity away from the number 9 hitter. Diaz, then Reyes and Ibar at the top of the order will be due up. Cesar Jimenez on the mound, the left-hander, working in his second inning. That'll be down the line and just foul at first. Diaz had an outstanding season with the White Sox, career highs, 131 games, 81 runs, 147 hits, and 29 doubles. He had a big season.
Surprised a lot of people by how durable he was and how productive he was throughout the season. And also shocked a few by driving the ball deep into the gaps as the year progressed.
0-2 count on him. And he'll take that one to center for a base hit. And that's what we were talking about earlier, about how this Dominican team has tried to put some balance in, get away from what they felt was an overload on power hitters, and get some power, but also guys who can punch the ball and spray it around a little bit.
It's the biggest headache for pitchers, for the defense to be aware and alert. Then you combine that with the speed, and it's horrible. It makes you think way too much.
Well, you got three guys right here with Diarza hitting in the number 9 spot, and then Reyes and Ibar, who can really cause some havoc to the defense. Has got to move around. Sandoval's going to stay in at third. Is Reyes, who singled his first time up. Little lob toss over by Jimenez to first base.
Here's where you as a base runner have to go to work. You have to anticipate Jimenez being in there for a few innings. So go after as a base runner and establish a big lead.
4 hits on the board now for the Dominican. The fastball will be taken for a strike.
The reason is you establish a big lead, you're going to force Jimenez to show every one of his moves. And with guys like Reyes and Ibar, eventually in the long run, it's going to help him out.
Reyes has participated in all 3 World Baseball Classics. Only he and Miguel Tejada can say that on the Dominican team. So for Reyes and Tejada, there's a lot of retribution that they are looking for. They did not like the way it ended in 06 and in 09. Reyes tonight with that base hit and a run scored, leading off the ball game with a single. There's a good throw over it, and not going to get it.
Gary, that's a throw that I like to see on any lefty. If he has it, now you know where you set your parameters as a base runner. Step off move is discouraged by many organizations. It could be a lot of stress on the shoulder, but if you have it, it could be a big detractor to the base runner.
See if he shortens up that lead. Diarza over there at first base. He does. It's a tough one as he changes up on the look. Sometimes he's looking at the plate, then throws over. Sometimes looking at first, throws to the plate. Sometimes looking at first and throws over. You got to do that so the base runner can't read you.
I would go right now. First move.
See if he gets that foot planted on the carpet. He hasn't got it there. Normal lead, not going. And got the pitch down and in. Chop foul by Reyes.
The reason I would have gone, I said first move, because he already showed me the step off. He shortened my lead. The minute you shorten your lead, the lefty's thinking, I got him where I want him. As a base runner, you counteract that saying, no, I got you where I want you. I'm going to go first move here.
Alfredo Griffin, the first base coach, talking with Diarza. Maybe wanting him to get off a little bit more. I think he's a little concerned with this left-hander's move. 1 ball, 2 strike count. And the pitch will miss outside. Reyes takes it, and the count will go to 2-2.
Alfredo Griffin, first base coach for Team Dominican, also the first base coach for the Angels. A well-seasoned and experienced base runner himself as a player.
Diarza edging off about another foot with the lead. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Not going. Pitch will be grounded into left field for a base hit. And Reyes is 2 for 2. Stopping at second base, Diarza. And the Dominican Republic at it again. They got the first 2 on in the first inning. They've done it again here in the second.
All because of one thing, speed and the threat for a bunt. That brought in the third baseman Sandoval. And Reyes with great back control once again, adding more pressure on Team Venezuela.
So they continue to pound it out here. They've got 3 runs on 5 hits, and we're only in the bottom half of the second inning. They have done that in those exhibition games. Jose was talking about earlier, putting up some big offensive numbers with a team that just seems to be ready, at least offensively, to want to snowball. They beat the Philadelphia Phillies 15-2, 8-2 win over the Yankees. And they pounded out to 13 hits in the second game, and 28 against Philadelphia. In at first and third, Ibar even with the runners on at first and second. They're playing for the bunt here, moving around in the infield. He shows it, takes the pitch up high. He did bunt, and a good one down to third that resulted in an error on the pitcher Sanchez, who was on the mound at the time. First time up.
Ibar's job here is to get the third baseman Sandoval involved in this play. Pull Sandoval in, make him feel the baseball, get away from the pitcher and away from the charging Miguel Cabrera at first base.
Ibar, switch hitter, DH, batting second. Sandoval at third. Swung on a bouncer. Right there, he's just trying to put the ball in play. He's got everybody moving, so if he can just put the ball in play, he's got a pretty good chance of getting on.
Let me tell you, that's a great job by the catcher Montero, not just blocking this pitch here perfect in his fundamentals, but in calling the breaking ball in that case.
Pitchers love that when the catcher's not afraid to go to a pitch that could get the catcher in trouble. Still charging first and third. There's the bunt shown. That pitch is going to miss on the inside corner, and the count goes to 2-1.
Tell you what, this might be inning number 2 of game number 1, but this is being played like inning number 9 of game number 6
or 7 in the World Series. And they're charging here to try and get a play at third base. Cabrera coming in from first wants to field a bunt, and Sandoval wants to go back at third and try and get a force out if they can. Cabrera's all over the place at first. You see him jumping around. There's the spin move with nobody covering second base. De Arza back to the bag.
Now keep in mind that these plays are fresh in their minds because of spring training.
Yeah. This is the stuff you go over and over every spring training, the fundamental plays.
And it is March.
Yeah. They're charging again at first. Pitch is taken down low. And as so often happens in these situations, the pitcher, concentrating on everything going on around him, forgets to throw strikes.
That's the key. Now, look at the movement from the top. Ibar can choose to show bunt and pull back because look at the left side of the infield. Andrews is heading right to the second base spot.
They're not using the wheel, sending the shortstop to third. They're keeping Sandoval over there to cover the bag. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Ibar with 2 on, nobody out. And there's the bunt, and he popped it up. He lets it drop. There's 1. And that's all they're going to get. So they let it drop. Jimenez did in hopes of picking up a double play. They will get the lead runner. De Arza's out at third base. Boy, this game, we're only in the second inning, and we've had a bit of everything.
That's great. Ibar got that barrel underneath it. It almost didn't run up. He had to pick it up and go, but it's a very compromising play for the base runners because the ball's elevated and you anticipate it being caught. And when you see that ball hit that turf, man, speed up.
Good play and well played by Reyes. That's a tough, as you say, tough play for Reyes. Figure out where to go, but he got the second base. So now 1 away. Runners remain at first and second. Here's Robinson Cano. Cano has already delivered a 2 RBI double that came in the first inning. Starting out this WBC exactly the way he wanted to. And the pitch taken down low.
Miguel Cabrera, you say he was all over the place. Watch him. And he's communicating the whole time. And he's saying, hey, let it drop. Let it drop.
And you saw Jimenez make sure of that throw, not to throw it away at third. Cabrera now back, obviously, with Cano up there, the left-hander. And a look back at second base again. Of all the players on the Dominican, Cano was one who stood up this year once this team got together and said, I'm responsible. I did not play well in the WBC in 09, and I want to change that. He's already started that with the 2 RBI double that he has put up. Cano in 09 went 3 for 13 in the WBC that was played, and just felt he was a primary reason that they didn't do very well, and he wants to make the better of that here in 2013. Here's the 1-0 delivery, and Cano with a big cut. 1-1.
Jimenez able to elevate the fastball. Cano a little late getting back and not able to catch up with that one. And that is a high fastball that at times will get Jimenez into trouble.
Cesar Jimenez on the mound, coming on after the rain delay. Now with runners on at first and second base, and the Dominican Republic with 3 in the first inning, trying to add to it here in the second. And Cano will take the pitch inside for a ball.
Robbie Cano is big and has matured so much as a big league hitter. And forget the numbers in the past, he continues and wants to get better. But here's where he will be aware of not lifting that front shoulder up to not chase anything up above those letters.
Here's the 2-1 delivery to him. Well, tipped into the mid, held on to him. The count will go to 2-2. Hot speed delivery that time from the left-hander to even up the count.
Right after the swing and miss, you saw Cano use some hand gestures as reminders to stay through the baseball.
Well, the game's really great hitters. Another 300 year for him. Hit .313. 4th consecutive time, and 6 out of 7 years in which he has been a .300 hitter. 2 ball, 2 strike count. A lot of attention being paid to the base runners here in this inning. That runner at second base, Reyes, as was true when De Arza was there, trying to keep him as close as they can. Elvis Andrus, you see right behind the runner, the shortstop. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Jimenez thought he had that. He doesn't get the call.
Pretty good pitch. I think at the very end what hurt him was the ball cut at the very last minute. That's when sometimes a little movement can hurt you.
Humid night here. We started late afternoon at about 82, 83 degrees. Cooled off a little bit by game time, but you'll see the ball players wiping off some perspiration here tonight. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Cano. Runners off first and second with 1 away. Cano bloops it. Third base. Base hit! Over the head of Sandoval. Reyes will score. Ibar to third. Another double. Another RBI. 4-0. Dominican.
Front shoulder down. That's a reminder. You saw it right there. And yes, good hitters get jammed. They're not afraid to wait. You talk about hitting it with your knuckles and placing it exactly where you want it. That's what Cano did.
Boy, what a start for Robinson Cano, who wanted so desperately to have a big 2013 WBC. He's already got 3 RBIs and 2 doubles, and he's going to chase the left-hander. Jimenez is going to be coming out of the ball game as Soho, the manager, goes out. And deep into that bullpen in game 1 goes this team from Venezuela, as the Dominican Republic now with 4 runs on 6 hits. Only in the second inning, they've got a 4-0 lead.
.4-0 Dominican, and thanks to Robbie Cano once again. This is a key pitch right here. Swing and miss. Watch his right hand. Little reminders, little triggers like this make this happen.
All you got to do. So Cano coming up big now, 2 in scoring position with only 1 away. And here is Edwin Encarnacion. And another chance for a couple of RBIs and a base hit. A strikeout victim his first time up. We get a look at Enrique Gonzalez pitching for Venezuela, the right-hander. Not affiliated with a major league team at the moment. He pitched in Japan last year. He is 30 years old. He has pitched at the major leagues 06 through 2011. He pitched with 4 teams: the D-backs, Padres, Red Sox, and Tigers. And last year pitched in Japan, where he went 2-5 with a 7.04 ERA. Pitched in 16 games, but only 23 innings. Encarnacion will take the pitch. It is down low for a ball. And with no intent to denigrate anybody pitching here, what you're seeing for Venezuela right now are the mop-up guys. I mean, you're getting guys who they did not intend to use early in a ball game. That ball's going to go to left field. Prado coming over. He will make the catch. Tagging up third. Stumbling on the way to the plate. And gets in under the tag. And the entire dugout coming out. Prado made the throw. Alomar stumbled as he started down the third base side. It is 5-0 Dominican.
Oh, Prado does a fine job getting rid of the baseball. And watch Ibar. Little stumbling action here, but the key here is he takes the legs out of Miguel Montero from underneath him. Nice charging play there by Prado, once again showing his ability on a perfect throw.
Look at the excitement. The entire dugout coming out to greet him as he slides in, looking at the home plate umpire for the call.
Keep in mind, the games here in this tournament can be shortened.
10 runs, a 10-run lead after 5 innings, game's over. A 15-run lead after 7, game's over. Here's Ramirez. I'm not sure anybody thought in this game that in the second inning, the Dominican would be leading by a score of 5-0. And we'll see how much more thump they're going to put on here as they continue their offensive attack against Gonzalez. That run will be charged to Jimenez, so he gave up a couple of runs in an inning. 3 hits. Popped that one up. Montero coming back. A lot of room, but not enough.
That was a big swing by Hanley Ramirez.
We're talking about the rules, Jose, that affect the Baseball Classic. Here's what we're talking about. Team ahead 15 or more at the end of an inning. Beginning with the completion of the 5th, game over. Team ahead 10 or more, end of the 7th, game over. Could that happen here? Yeah.
The way they're swinging the bats, yes, it can happen.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that Soho, as he mentioned, is not bringing in his key pieces into this game on the mound.
Trying to find a pitcher, Venezuela is, who can shut this Dominican attack down. Hanley Ramirez. Cano's on at second base. He gets a big secondary lead out there. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and that's going to be blooped to second base. Scudero will put it away, and that'll do it. But another couple of runs in as they get it done on 3 hits with a base runner left on. We've completed 2. Game 1, Pool C. Dominican Republic 5-0 over Venezuela. Hey, you got to wear something. 5-0 lead for the Dominican. Take a look at the ballpark. Here are the numbers here. Fairfield, 325 left, 375 center, dead center 404. Power alley 375 right center, 325 and right.
This ballpark used to be a hitter's paradise. In fact, when the Expos played some games here, it was home run ball night after night.
We go to the 3rd inning. 1 hit on the board for Venezuela, 0-1-1. 1 unearned run among the 5 the Dominican Republic has put up. Angel Castro continues on the mound. Pitch will be taken. He was a little wild. And don't you know, Venezuela was taking a look at that in that last inning. And Marcos Scudero is not going to jump on anything. It's not a strike.
This is the definition of a professional hitter right here.
Scudero takes it inside, and again Castro, as he ended that last half inning, struggling with the strike zone, 3-0. Wherever Scudero goes, all who coach and manage say, boy, I'm glad he's playing for us. And he takes the strike. He is just a gamer.
Knows how to play the game. And Luis Soho said he is the smartest player I have on this squad.
He hit 306, 74 RBIs, playing with Rockies and Giants, and Soho loves him. 3-1 delivery, he took it, and he's on.
I'll tell you what, if I'm Tony Pena and Bill Castro in that other dugout, I'm going to have to put some pressure on Angel Castro. He needs to show better command and needs to show that he wants this.
You got a 5-0 lead, throw strikes. It may be early, but throw strikes. Venezuela needs base runners and opportunities.
Venezuela is too good of a team, too deep in the lineup. If you allow them back into the game, you're asking for trouble.
Here's Elvis Andrus. This is the top of the order. Strikeout victim his first time up. Pitch way up high. Castro's not even close.
Now look at this.
And
Tony.
Charging out of the dugout, Pena.
Now, here's the mentality of a former catcher taking over right here. Forget the manager. He did not send the pitching coach. He wants to send the message, and I completely agree with him.
That ball had not even been thrown back to the mound, and he was at the first baseline. And as you can see, the message is short and sweet. Severino's warming up in the bullpen.
Atahualpa Severino.
I'm sure neither of these managers dreamed that in the third inning they were going to have a couple of pitches already in the game and somebody else warming up in the bullpen. That's what's happened here. Andrus now with a 1-0 count. That's way inside, gets away, and the count goes to 2-0. There's no reason for Andrus to swing here. Cabrera is Drupal Cabrera waiting on deck.
This is where the mentality is, if you're Venezuela, hey, don't help him out.
Takes a strike on the inside corner. Count will go to 2-1. For Andrus last year, he hit .286, 62 RBIs, 85 runs scored. Table setter, of course, in Texas, along with the outstanding glove that he plays at short. Another fastball gets it in, and the count's evened up at 2-2.
That's a true definition of a team guy right there, taking a pitch right down the middle to force Castro to throw strikes.
Make him throw. Better chance to get one to hit right here. Scudero at first base. 2-2, runner not going. Ball will be blooped in the air to right center field. It's playable. Diaz is there, puts it away. Andrus is retired. One down, third inning.
Andrews trying to do what he does so well, hitting behind the runner, but this time Castro had a little extra on that two-seam fastball, and it beat him inside.
So one away, and that'll bring up Cabrera. As Drupal Cabrera, he's the designated hitter batting second. Flied out to center field his first time up. Cabrera playing in his first World Baseball Classic. Silver Slugger winner in 2011. And he'll foul that one back going after the first pitch.
You'll notice as Drupal nowadays will hold the bat all the way down in the knob. When he came to the big leagues, he used to choke up 3 or 4 inches. But his teammate Orlando Cabrera said, hey, with the strength he have in those arms, go down and try to hit home runs. Well, he went from 3 home runs in 2010 to 25 home runs in 2011 because of that.
High speed delivery is going to be taken outside. That is the power hitter's mold today, Jose, is to have that right down on the knob of the bat with even part of the hand below it, almost underneath the bat.
And what a great observation by Colombian shortstop Orlando Cabrera.
One ball, one strike count, runner at first base, inside with a heater.
And
there is Kelvin Herrera warming up. He just got up to join Severino in the bullpen.
in fact, he just got up and his hat wasn't even put on right. You see that?
Whoa. And these pitches, of course, thrown in the bullpen matter as far as use of pitchers is concerned here in the pool play. That's going to be up high, and again Castro gets behind the hitter. Count goes to 3-1. He has walked 2 since coming on in the second inning for Volquez, who started, but after the long rain delay did not get to come back.
There's concern on Castro, and rightfully so. His ball strike ratio is not where you want it. He just doesn't seem very confident at times.
3 ball, 1 strike delivery. But a fastball in, big cut, kept it down low, and Cabrera will foul it back, and the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
One of the things that can really help Angel Castro, I think, at times, take a little bit off of your fastball.
3-2, runner not going at first, and walking. 3rd walk. 2 on, 1 down, 2 walks in the inning.
Gary, every single time he has tried to go from 93 to 97, he misses.
Starts aiming, doesn't he? And Tony Pena is going to make his way back out to the mound for the 2nd time, and that's it. He has seen enough. The Castro's coming out of there. He threw 42 pitches, only 18 strikes, and just not very effective. And even though the Dominicans got the 5-0 lead, simply cannot, Tony Pena can't allow Venezuela to get back in on free passes and maybe a big blow here in this game. So the continuation of pitchers joining this classic, starting early. Here's Herrera. A 23-year-old with a powerful arm on the pitch.
Yes, he is. Kelvin Herrera, Kansas City Royals product. Part of that successful bullpen for Nate Yost the last season. Averaged 98 miles an hour on his fastball last year. Average.
Pretty good average. Runners on at first and second base. Big matchup right here. Here's Cabrera, fly to center his first time up. The fastball will miss outside. 2 walks in the inning. Marcos Scudero led off for the walk. He's at second. Asdrubal Cabrera with 1 away drew the other. He's on at first. And now Herrera trying to settle this in and hold those runners where they are. Only 1 away. Infield double play depth. Cabrera will take it outside, and the count goes to 2-0. Again, looks like overthrowing here in this first appearance in the WBC.
And this is where Miguel Cabrera is at his best, because his mentality is to allow the pitcher to provide the power. And if you watch Cabrera and how nicely he loads up, many call him the most mechanically sound slugger in baseball for that reason. Watch his hands, nice and easy load up, and stays inside the baseball consistently.
2-0 count. That's a strike on the outside corner, well located. I've asked some veteran players, Jose, over the last couple of years about Cabrera, and do you classify him as one of the best hitters you've ever seen? And I mean guys who've been in the game, played back in the 50s, and they said absolutely, maybe the best hitter.
Consistent overall with everything he does in rhythm-wise.
2-1 delivery on the way. He launches that one to right field towards the corner, curls at the wall, and he's got it. Runners were halfway. They'll have to go back. That close, but it might well have been 100 miles away.
That is an absolutely beautiful swing. Let's take a look at how he was approached here by the youngster Herrera. One thing, Gary, that was noticeable as Cruz makes the catch there is how much better the direction of Herrera's body got towards home plate.
That is obviously a very big out. Now the cleanup batter, Pablo Sandoval, standing in. Sandoval was robbed of a hit on a fly ball to left field. Nanita, the left fielder, went over and made a fine diving catch in foul territory. He puts another one down that way, but this one's not playable and ends up in the seats.
So when I talk about direction, is one thing that, of course, Herrera, because he throws so hard, it could get away from him, Gary, is front shoulder direction and driving down. There's a key spot in this ballgame, dangerous hitter, where he needs to locate well.
Scudero, Asdrubal Cabrera on base, the 0-1 delivery. Got one he wanted to drive and fouled it right straight back.
Excellent location. Fastball close to 97 miles an hour in the outer third.
They're brought in here to get a strikeout in this situation. 0-2 delivery. That'll miss outside. Count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Got spun around trying to complete his delivery that time.
Talk about direction, but also the landing and follow through. Just pure arm right there. Stiff front leg. Ooh. And the spin.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way. Sandoval in the air to center field. Diarza over. Looking. Lost it. Gonna go all the way to the wall. That will score 2. Scudero. Cabrera. A double and a big one. Venezuela's on the board. It's 5-2.
Well, that's why he is beloved in his country. Clutch player. Look where Panda went down to get this pitch. A good pitcher's pitch overall. Goes down with his legs. He's a beauty.
That's the big hit Venezuela was looking for. Here's Gonzalez, takes the pitch outside.
This goes back to a key at bat by Sandoval's teammate in San Francisco, Marco Scudero. A big walk leading off this inning.
Carlos Gonzalez grounded out his first time up. Venezuela getting just their second hit with 2 walks. Have scored. The Scudero and Cabrera charged to Angel Castro. So to Venezuela's credit, Castro opened the door with the free passes, and Venezuela walked in.
Too deep of a lineup for you to be messing around issuing free passes. They've capitalized.
There are 2 down. Gonzalez will take the fastball. That'll catch the outside corner for a strike. And it goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Good patience being shown by Venezuela, a team that was down 5-0. They're not out there swinging at pitches outside the strike zone. They didn't against Castro. They're not doing it here against the youngster.
True.
2-1 delivery. Ground ball up the middle. That's going to be stopped. No play. But it will save a run. Cano got over and knocked it down. If he doesn't do that, Sandoval would score. It's an infield hit. Runners at first and third.
Outstanding effort to his right by Robbie Cano, understanding the importance of keeping that guy at third base. And he tries a backdoor throw and almost throws it away. That's how you play the game. That's how a leader backs it up with his actions.
Well, a couple of hits in the inning sets the stage for Montero. Had a single his first time up. Pena is on his way out again. And he wants another move made here. Now we're talking about watching the pitch counts and trying to figure out how he's going to be able to use pitchers throughout this pool play. Herrera, the 23-year-old youngster, he wanted him to come on, I think, get a couple of strikeouts or at least 1 and get out of the inning. Couldn't do it. He got 1 out, gave up a double and a single to the bullpen again. Atahualpa Severino, one of 3 left-handers on this staff. 2012, you see the numbers that he put up at AAA. Called on now with runners at first and third to find the final out against Montero, a matchup of left-hander against left-hander. We're going matchups in the 3rd inning.
That's how big this is, this early.
Sandoval and Gonzalez at third and first respectively. 2 down. Going for the long ball right there, Montero. He had a single his first time up.
That was a big swing from Montero, lefty-lefty matchup. Anticipate those swings getting shorter now during this at-bat. That was his let it fly one time.
This is to tie the game up. That's what that swing was. Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way. Hits it up in the air. Nanita is there, and he'll put it away. Montero is retired, but a couple of runs in on 3 passes, 2 RBIs for Sandoval. Venezuela right back in this ball game, 5-2. We want to remind you that you can visit WorldBaseballClassic.com and bookmark it. Your one-stop source for news, video highlights, online shopping, authentic jerseys, caps, collectibles, and more. You can shop 24/7 and gear up as you support your team by wearing the official colors of your country. That's WorldBaseballClassic.com. Accessible on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. And the pitch is a strike taken. Hey, sports fans, we've completed almost 2.5 innings.
Beautiful.
5-6-0 for the Dominican Republic, 2-3-1 for Venezuela. And a strike taken. Enrique Gonzalez working on the mound for Venezuela. Try and find a pitcher who can get 3 outs in an inning is what they're after right now on both sides. Quick 2-strike count. And a check swing. Nelson Cruz stays away. Cruz had a single and an RBI his first time up. Cano's got 3 RBIs already in the ball game to lead the Dominican. 1 unearned run on the board on the error that was charged in the first inning to the pitcher Sanchez. Big rip, and he got it.
That's a big start right there during the inning. It's breakable. Not the best of them, but it threw Cruz enough as his hands were coming forward and not able to catch up with it.
That will bring up Carlos Santana. Santana had a walk and was stranded his first time up in the ball game.
Now, Gary, you make that mistake in the heat of Texas in July, and that ball is not going to land.
Will come all the way to Puerto Rico. Pitch is taken up high for a ball. Santana, his first WBC appearance. Great on base percentage, tremendous discipline, doesn't chase pitches.
Yeah, for a young player, he does have a pretty good idea of the strike zone. Now, I really like his load up too, and this is sometimes what gets him in trouble, but watch his front foot, the way it starts, it gets him in trouble when he doesn't land on time. But boy, he's got some serious power.
And a check swing at a ball that's going to miss down low. So he is ahead on the count. He's got a .363 on base percentage over his first 3 big league seasons. And as a result, a part of that is he's been able to get 22 homers, 78 RBIs in the last 2 years, getting pitches to hit. And he starts this one out with a walk.
Carlos Santana on his way to first base, also extremely happy about how the Cleveland Indians, now with Terry Francona, have surrounded him with some premier players. Very aggressive in the free agency.
Very. Cleveland will be one of the many interesting ball clubs to keep an eye on in this upcoming major league season.
Yeah, Nick Swisher at it, obviously the new manager Terry Francona, and Michael Bourne recently also.
Nanita hit into a double play that ended the second inning on a fly ball to right field. Carlos Gonzalez able to double it up at the plate. And he will take the pitch down low. Montero doesn't like what he sees, and he'll go out to the mound. Sandoval came in as well to have a word with Enrique Gonzalez. Boy, what a struggle this has been for both of these managers through just 3 innings of play, trying to find some outs.
Let's consider defensive strategy, offensive strategy, pitcher's strategy, all condensed to 2.5 innings.
Yep. Sandoval in at third base. Nanita waiting on it, will take it for a strike. That'll even the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. But obviously a good pitch to take right there, make him throw a strike before you do anything. There's the number 9 hitter waiting on deck. At first base, Santana, not a big lead. Still playing bunt at third. Pitch is going to miss inside, and the count will go to 2-1. Anita with a long look down. See whether or not the bunt may be on or the runner may be going. Sandoval refusing to give him any ground down there at third base. Has stayed in as he is right now. Gonzalez with a 2-ball 1-strike count. And he will take it, and that one's going to be down low, and the count goes to 3-1.
Oh, Gary, as you mentioned, the defensive aspect of the bunt and the threat, the speed that the Dominican team has, but because of that, Luis Sojo has had a tough time watching so many balls go left and right of his infielders. Twice with Reyes. Once, of course, we saw with Cano. And certainly it does open up another aspect for you offensively.
3-1. Anita will chop that one off his foot. Foul ball, and it'll be 3-2. Anita played last year at AAA Vegas. He hit .306, 12 home runs, 93 games. In the ballpark, generally favorable to hitters. He spent the last 3 seasons with the Toronto Blue Jays organization.
Well, he's currently in camp with the Blue Jays and hoping to earn a spot in a very busy outfield.
3-ball, 2-strike count. Santana at first base. He's running and got him, and a chance for 2, and they do. Strike him out, throw him out as Montero put it on the money at second base. And that will retire the side with only 3 batters coming up. And that's going to complete 3 innings here in game 1 of Pool C play. 5-2 Dominican. Miguel Montero, who can gun him down. You just saw the fine arm.
Well, there's a play where, as a base runner, you're not going to have the best jump, but it doesn't matter. It's the accuracy and the quickness and the transfer from Montero. He gunned down close to 34% of attempted base stealers last year.
So that ended the inning with only 3 hitters coming up. Andrus getting over there to put the tag on.
Plenty of time.
That ball's going to go down the line off Prado's bat. That's a base hit. It'll roll into foul territory off the wall. And a lead-off double here in the 4th inning. Then Prado delivers after drawing a walk his first time up. Venezuela, they are not out of this ball game.
Boy, Martin Prado can get on top of a fastball as good as anybody. Look at that. Spin as he transfer that weight and get that barrel through the zone.
Savino on the mound, the left-hander who came on in the last inning to get the final out. Gerardo Parra now will stand in. Hanley Ramirez at third base is playing in. He's not showing bunt and takes the pitch on a foul tip for a strike. That hit the bat on the way by. And Santana may have been crossed up as he heads immediately out to the mound.
Well, luckily he was able to hang on to this one, but something you don't want to see too often. Here's Santana setting up, looking for that fastball. Not easy to adapt this way than the other way.
Looking for the breaking ball and you get that heater that comes right into your chest and destroys your entire day.
And at times a poor umpire is also take the brunt.
Yes. Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way. That'll miss inside. Parra to be followed by Scudero, and then the top of the order for Venezuela. 5-6-0 for the Dominican. 2-4-1 for Venezuela. It was a 5-0 ball game. With that last half inning for Venezuela, ground ball towards the middle, played by Cano. Runner will move up. Parra is retired. Prado to third, 1 away.
Well, one of the things you see on Robbie Cano is as he matured and has matured as a fielder. He makes that play with the best of them. off balance, but understanding the game situation, where he is, understanding his body, getting planted, making a solid throw is very important, and he did it in that one.
One of the best arms I've ever seen at second base. He can make throws going to left field where he's 4 or 5 steps beyond the bag that are right on the money line drives. Bill Castro, the pitching coach now, is coming out to the mound. They do have bullpen action. We talked about managing the pitching staff at the start of this broadcast and how important it was in this tournament because of the pitch counts, never dreaming that we were going to see what we've seen in the first 3 innings of this game. I mean, we've already had 4 pitchers on the mound for the Dominican Republic, and 3 have been out there for Venezuela.
I can tell you who is one that's pretty sorry that the rains came is Edinson Volquez, who was so sharp in that first inning, man. He was on only 11 pitches, 7 strikes.
And again, these are the rules that apply in the World Baseball Classic. You can't throw more than 65 pitches in the first round, period. If you have 50 or more, you got to have 4 days rest. If you throw 30 or more, you got to have a day off. And if you pitch consecutive outings, you also have to have a day off. So all that has to be included in the consideration of how you manage a staff in these games. And the fastball to Scudero is taken for a strike. Runner at third base, 1 down.
Yeah, and both Luis Sojo and Tony Pena told us earlier today they're very happy there's an off day tomorrow.
Yeah. And they're going to need it the way they're using the staff. Here's the 0-1 pitch in the dirt. Gets away. Runner decides to come. Can't find it and will score. And it is 5-3. Martin Prado started, stopped, realized Santana had no idea where the ball was and scores easily.
Well, little by little, Venezuela getting some momentum. Santana looks down, then does not look for help, but somebody should have been pointing.
It's a wild pitch. And it's a 5-3 game. Clears the bases. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count of Marco Scudero.
There's a heck of a read there by Prado. Goodness.
Fouls that one right straight back. Just missed. 1-2. Scudero's 3rd Classic appearance. And boy, he wants this one bad. He said this is probably it. Veteran does not figure he'll be around 4 years from now to do it again. So he really is hungry to put one up in the W column in a championship game for Venezuela. And he'll take it inside.
Gary, and guess who could use this WBC as audition? The Big Z is in the house for Venezuela. Carlos Zambrano, still a free agent.
Another one of the stories to be played out here in this World Baseball Classic, individual stories. That ball was put in the air to left field. He got pretty good wood. Scudero sends it back to the wall and off the top of the wall. He's on his way to second base, backed up by Diaz, the center fielder. Scudero a double and just missed the dinger.
Big Z lit in the chair on this one. And Scudero thought he had it. And an outstanding effort there by Nanita once again. But you can see after Castro came into the game, Gary, how the Venezuelan at-bats have gotten better and the confidence level has gotten better.
They're into it. And another pitching change. The double by Scudero will chase Cervino, and the veteran Octavio Dotel coming in from the bullpen, the right-hander, try and find a way to get some outs. Well, this crowd has had everything to cheer about. We're not even done the 4th inning yet. Well, Venezuela will bring the potential tying run to the plate against Octavio Dotel, a well-traveled right-hander.
I'd like to know when's the last time Octavio Dotel came into a game in the 4th inning. Spring training?
Probably. With the Detroit Tigers last year, the Cardinals the year before. Dotel against Elvis Andrus, and the pitch will be taken for a strike. Runner on at second base, Scudero, one away.
Dotel still has a lively arm, pretty sharp slider, and is savvy to pitch and do some different things with his fastball.
Look back to second base. Here's the 0-1 delivery. And he got him to swing on a big sweeping breaking ball.
Well, you're not kidding, but it's all about the finish and what he wants that ball to do. Sometimes he'll tilt it over a little bit more where it'll slide. And you saw that one there look close to a slurve with the action.
Trying to hold the runner close at second base is Cano. He backs off. Andrus. 0-2 delivery. Breaking ball blocked. Oh, Santana keeping that ball in front of him.
And with Tony Pena watching, even though he was a little late getting down, he was able to keep it in front of him. And remember, Santana's still a work in progress as a receiver in the big leagues.
He's getting a work in progress in this game.
Getting a lot of work.
Fifth pitcher he's handled. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and a ground ball towards the hole. Knocked down. Ramirez goes to first and didn't get him. Elvis Andrus beats it out. Scudero stayed at second base. Infield hit.
And this is all Venezuela was looking for, to pressure now the Dominican defense a little bit more. It's a great effort there by Holly Ramirez.
And he made the right call. Well, we said that long rain delay we had of about 50 minutes would it swing this ball game back towards Venezuela, take some of the thrust away from the Dominican Republic. It appears to be happening. It's obviously a big part of that being neither team can find a pitcher who can get many outs. One away, first and second. Pitch on the inside corner, strike as Drupal Cabrera has walked and scored and flied out the DH.
He just missed a home run to deep center field in the very first inning against Balcas.
Octavio Dotel going to be entering his 13th major league season with the Tigers this year. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Fastball will come inside. Count goes to a ball and a strike. We talked about Dotel having traveled. Started with the Mets in '95, Astros, A's, Yankees, Royals, Braves, White Sox, Rockies, Dodgers, Pirates, Blue Jays, Cardinals, Tigers.
Keep going.
There's nobody left. And fouled away.
He played with the current Dominican general manager, Moises Alou.
Yep. He's been in the last 2 World Series. He got a ring with the Cardinals and played with the Detroit Tigers in the World Series last year. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Cabrera with 2 on and only 1 away. And the Dominican lead cut to 2, and he'll go after one down the line, left field, another long run, and that's going to be out of play.
No, just like Santana's getting his work in.
Nanita's getting his work in left field. He's been all over the place in left field.
And the fans.
Yeah, he's with all that foul territory, he's made 1 great catch over there and has run after 2 or 3 more. Scudero at second base. Andrus on at first. 1 ball, 2 strike count. And inside off the fist.
As Drupal is a tough out. That's how many major league pitchers describe him. Quite simple. Not afraid to hit deep in a count. and very smart and anticipating pitches.
Dotel with a 1-2. Just missed inside. Started this ball game, got an inning and a third done. Rains came, 50-minute rain delay. Dominican Republic had put up 3 runs in the first inning when the rain delay came, and then the first batter up, Nikita, after that rain delay, hit into a double play on a fly ball to right field with the final out recorded easily at the plate, and then things got turned around. Dominican got 2 more in the second inning, make it 5-0. Venezuela's responded. 2 in the third, another here in the fourth. 2-2 delivery, got the heater in there.
Well, one thing Dotel's not going to do, he's not going to back away from anything or anybody. Ran that fastball right by Asdrubal.
Well, another classic matchup. Cabrera flied out to right field. He just missed a home run down the right field line in his last at bat. He is 0 for 2.
Again, these are teammates with the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
You might know something about Dotel.
Inside. Dotel's not afraid to do that, teammate or not. He wants him backed off so he can't get comfortable and then try and work that slider he has down and away and see if he can get Miguel Cabrera to go after it. 1-0 count. There's the pitch he wanted on the outside corner that's way outside. 2-0.
And once again, a very busy Carlos Santana. The backhand stop this time. And I don't know that at times he's picking up the ball very well, because I've seen a couple of reactions from Santana that tell me he's a little late. Getting down or transferring the direction of his body or his glove.
Cano came in to have a word with Dotel. Cabrera with a 2-0 count, 2 down.
I'll look at Cabrera to pull the ball here.
And he got the strike on the outside corner. That's what Dotel's trying not to give him, is a ball that he can pull, trying to stay away.
Watch him. He was ready to pull the trigger, but not at that pitch. Definitely looking fastball in.
Great hitters, the big advantage. If you can get ahead on the count, not be overly aggressive, then you can take your pitch to hit and not the pitcher's. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Dotel with a look back. Up high. Would you walk him here, even with Sandoval on deck?
I would.
I would too. I mean, I wouldn't, not intentionally, but I wouldn't give him anything to hit.
See if he chases.
Yep.
Now, if you're going to miss, make sure you miss by a lot.
Two on with Scudero. Elvis Andrus, 3-1. He did inside, not even close. That'll load him up. Dotel was some kind of an off-speed pitch right there.
It's almost like you say, you know what, here it is. I know it's going to be a ball. Just
get down to first, get out of the way. It's the old, would you walk him with the bases loaded if you had a big enough lead? And a couple of times in Major League history, not necessarily with Cabrera, the answer's been yes with some hitters. And Cabrera fits in that mold. So they'll take their chances with Sandoval. What a game. Look at this. These are the pitch counts for the pitchers that have been used tonight by the Dominican. Volquez would have stayed a lot longer but for the rain delay of 50 minutes. Castro couldn't control it. Herrera, the fastball pitcher, Savino, they brought him out to get a better matchup with Dotel on the mound. I don't think anybody would have dreamed you would have seen those numbers in this ball game so early. Sandoval, they're loaded. Goes after the first pitch down the line. Nikita in the foul territory is not going to get this one. He's going to know all those fans over there personally before this game's over. it seriously, but they smile.
Passion and love here in the Caribbean. The funny thing is, you will see that same conversation about the same thing or the same colors being worn out in the streets.
Exactly. Well, this ball game may yet live up to expectations, but in a wholly different fashion than anybody thought.
Yes, sir.
Pablo Sandoval, 0-1 count. Sacks are full. Dotel's pitch way up high. Venezuela has stranded 4 so far, 2 in scoring position. Sandoval with a 2 RBI double in the 3rd inning and flied out for that great catch made in left field his first time up. Loaded him up here with Scudero. Had the double, Andrus with a single, and then the walk to Cabrera. 1-1 delivery. Dotel another heater, just challenging him in that hurt. Sandoval fouled that one off the leg.
Watch the action here on this pitch. Santana sits inside. See the cut fastball. Nice late action there by Dotel. That one will hurt.
And every time something like that happens in the World Baseball Classic, the manager of whomever team the player happens to be playing for cringes. It's like, oh,
not there. Yeah. Oh.
Dotel's ahead on the count, 1-2. See if he wastes one, it comes right at him. Pretty good pitch down and away. 2-ball, 2-strike count. He does not want to go 3-2.
Keep in mind that Sandoval had a good at-bat against Herrera and went down and got a good pitch low and away and drove it to left center field for his 2-run double.
The Giants, Pablo Sandoval, 2-2 delivery on the way, and he puts it up in the air to center field. It's playable. Lars is there, and he's got it. So again, Venezuela just that one hit away from getting this ball game tied up and add a run. They do it on 3 hits, but they leave the bases loaded. 5-3 Dominican. So the Dominican Republic continues to have the 5-3 lead in this ball game in front of this big house that has seen a little bit of everything so far in this game, and we're only going to the bottom half of the 4th inning. De Arza, Reyes, and Ibar will be due up for the Dominican, and Chacin has come on to do the pitching for Venezuela.
Julius Chacin, a valuable piece for Luis Sojo. Now this is where he envisioned perhaps bringing in Chacin, and he has it. 4th inning.
And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Alejandro De Arza at the plate had a single. The only at bat he has had with the Colorado Rockies for the 25-year-old. Pitch will be taken inside. Control's been a problem. He led the National League in 2011 with 87 walks. Still trying to find that control that will give him the advantage in ball games. 1-ball, 1-strike count. De Arza to first. Gotcha. Cabrera will pick that one off on the line drive. I can still play first, he says.
It's like the big cat reaction at first base. He's got a great teacher over in that dugout, Andres Galarraga, one of the coaches for the Venezuelan team.
Cabrera, of course, spent all of an offseason another year ago working his way at third base, where he now plays. But coming to the WBC, they needed him to play first base, so he goes back over to his old position.
He said no problem. He told Luis Sojo this after last season, wherever you want me to play. And of course, he had the blessing from the Detroit Tigers.
Dave Dombrowski said, I don't have any concern about him playing first, but I'd rather him play third. He's played first many, many times, so I'm okay with it.
And the one report I have for Jim Leland and Dave Dombrowski is this.
That's going to be a base hit into right center field. Reyes makes the turn, forcing the throw. So he's on with his 3rd hit. Reyes is 3 for 3, 2 runs scored in that leadoff spot for the Dominican.
Making things happen once again. you can ask for more. I mean, Reyes is finding a way to just put the bat on the baseball, and he's finding holes, man. That's an ugly swing. But so what? It's a hit.
And now he puts that speed on the base pass for another speedster. Ibar was reached on an error and a fielder's choice and scored twice. And again, Sandoval's in at third. This time swinging, goes to first. Cabrera, one, no relay. They get the force out on Reyes at second base, 3-6.
Well, Eric Ibar likes that fastball, and he was anticipating that from Chacin. And this is one at bat where I think Eric Ibar should have been more patient. Find out what Chacin has, but it doesn't take away from the fine play once again by Miguel Cabrera.
See, and that's one after playing third base last year, Cabrera's got to work on and has worked on this spring. That's a tough throw. I mean, to get back to that throw with a runner going down, you got to keep it on the inside so you don't hit the base runner. That was right on the money.
He threw a seed, and that's only fueled and helped by what? Throwing across the diamond from third base.
Yes. So then there are two away. Here's Cano, shatters the bat off the glove of Chacin. That'll be a base hit. Chacin trying to knock it down did, but in doing so, there was no play for Scutaro. And now Cano's 3 for 3. 2 doubles, a single, and 3 RBIs.
There's a couple of broken bats for Cano. And out of those broken bats, he's got a couple of knocks.
They want to make sure Chacin is okay as the catcher Montero went out. And now, all of a sudden, there are 2 on with 2 down. Encarnacion.
So far, Gary, the easiest inning Venezuela has had on the defensive side came back in the third.
Yep. Afterwards, he probably wished he'd have just let that go. Scutaro might have had a play on it, but he reacted as you would to try and make the play. Encarnacion, who's got an RBI and a sac fly and has struck out, takes the first strike. 2 down, 2 on. A power hitter in the outfield deep. Toronto Blue Jays needed him last year with the power bat. He gave it to him. Career high, 42 home runs. Had 110 RBIs, and he scored 93 runs. He just had a great season. No scene trying to get him out of there. Ibar and Cano are the base runners. Encarnacion on a cut on a breaking ball.
You know, Gary, one of the things that really made Encarnacion take it to the next level is the offseason workouts with the guy running at first base. He spent the previous winter working out with Robinson Cano back in the Dominican Republic. And one of the things that Cano recommended, along with our hitting coach, Luis Mercedes, was finishing with 2 hands on the bat. That simple.
It mattered. 1-2 delivery on the way and got him. Chacin looked good. That was a real nice pitch. So the side retired. No runs, couple of hits, no errors. 2 are left on base. We've completed 4. Chacin finds a way to get some outs. That's the kind of movement he had that inning, shown right there on that swing by Encarnacion. It'll be Gonzalez to lead it off for Venezuela when we come back. And the manager on the left said to his pitching coach on the right, "All right, what are you going to do now?"
Who do we have left?
Well, maybe we found a couple here. Dotel and Chacin look like they may be on here in this ball game. Will Castro, the pitching coach on the right there, talking to Tony Pena. See how it goes here. Venezuela edging their way back in. Dominican leading at 5-3. We go to the 5th inning. Here's Gonzalez, takes it for a strike. Carlos Gonzalez a single, and he has grounded out. 5-8-0 for the Dominican Republic. Venezuela 3-6-1. Outfield playing back. Gonzalez, and Tell's pitch will be taken inside.
Here, I'm getting reports from both the Dominican and Venezuela, and they tell me both countries are at a standstill right now.
So is the pitcher. Here's the 1-1 delivery. And a swing and a miss. Dotel boring in on him and kept the pitch down. 1 ball, 2 strike count. They figured that there's some 30 million people going to be watching this ball game. It was so highly touted from the moment the WBC schedule came out, and that this game was #1 in this Pool C here in Puerto Rico. It has been a much talked about game. Dotel catches the corner. That was a nasty bit of work.
Well, the more pitches a veteran has thrown, the more he's gotten to develop a consistent release point, backdooring his breaking ball. And a good job by Santana making sure he receives it and absorbs a pitch, doesn't stab at it. Your catchers could be such help.
Yes.
And they're smooth and soft with the hands and receiving.
Held that one right there, and Eric Cooper, the home plate umpire, put the arm up on it. Here's Miguel Montero. He's got a single, and he is flied out of the ball game. Dotel with 1 away. Montero watches one that's going to miss outside for a ball.
Montero's got a good eye. He walked 73 times last year for the Diamondbacks. High on-base percentage catcher. Close to 400 last year.
That was on the other side and hit him. It was behind him and apparently caught him on the foot. So there is our first hit batter. Dotel gets him. Well, coming up later tonight, the Netherlands taking on Cuba from the Tokyo Dome in Japan. Game time 10 Eastern, 3 o'clock GMT time. We're back here in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and Spain, 5:30 Eastern, 22:30 GMT time. That will be for tomorrow. And a full day of WBC action tomorrow. We'll look at the rest of the matchups that you're going to see. Italy with a big upset today over Mexico by a score of 6-5 in their game. And now Dotel gives a cleaner than close shave to Prado.
Well, I just complimented his release point, Gary. What happened to me? He loses it for 2 consecutive pitches.
Prado has doubled and drawn a walk, and with Dotel throwing, you do not want one up there around the neck inside. Runner at first, 1-0 delivery, goes back outside, and now he's watching. And Santana's going to go out and have a word with him. Here's that schedule we were talking about tomorrow here in the WBC with lots of great action. The Netherlands-Cuba game, Japan and Chinese Taipei. Be an outstanding matchup. And then Canada's going to take on Italy. That game rescheduled a bit, moved to Chase Field. That'll be at 2 o'clock, 19 GMT time. So some great games coming up as the WBC 2013 is in full swing.
How about Team Italy? One of the coaches, Mike Piazza, shocking Mexico.
6-5 today. And Dotel can't find it. Way inside. He falls behind on the count 3-0. I mean, Venezuela now for the last, 3 innings has been right on the door of either tying this game up or taking the lead. And that's going to bring a visit from Castro, the pitching coach.
Very
trying to settle him down.
Very timely, Gary, because I noticed a Dotel that looked in the dugout, and sometimes that's an indication that he might be getting a little fatigued.
He threw hard in that 4th inning to get the final outs. He got a strikeout on Asdrubal Cabrera and the fly ball to Sandoval with the bases loaded, but those were tough outs. And those are always viewed by pitching. Not every out is equal. There are tough outs where a pitcher's really bearing down and it wears on you. And maybe you're right, Jose, maybe wearing on him.
A lot of outs or at bats under duress. A lot of pitches thrown under duress. Takes a lot out of you.
Dotel at least will draw a little break. Now as Simone gets up in the bullpen, you see him on the left. Double barrel action. 3-0 count taken all the way. Fastball is in there for a strike to Prado.
Also got a chance to see Pedro Strop warming up.
Strop a setup man. But in this ball game, it's kind of who do you need now? 3-1. Runner off first base. Look out. And Dotel, those are not intentional pitches. He's not trying to get in there. He's trying to throw a strike. Second walk, he surrendered.
It's very easy to see that he's dropping that elbow. He's not releasing the ball in front of him. Nothing is in sync.
Tony Pena told us this morning, look, I'm a former catcher, and I can tell. I know when a guy's out there struggling and there's a problem, and he knows Dotel's got a problem right now.
One thing is Carlos Santana can buy a little time here. You can see him looking into the dugout, see what Tony wants him to do.
He wants him to wait.
Yes, that's the ideal thing here.
We're going to get another pitching change. He just wanted to give the bullpen a couple more tosses. So Dotel will be coming out of the ball game responsible for the 2 base runners on. And we will have the 6th pitcher of the game coming on for the Dominican Republic here in the 5th inning. And once again, Venezuela's got the potential tying runs on, and the potential go-ahead will be coming to the plate. So Tony Pena talking to Dotel, just knew that he had run out of gas in his relief appearance. And they go to the setup man of the Baltimore Orioles out of the bullpen now for the Dominican, Pedro Strop.
He is all arms, all legs, in mid-90s.
And a fastball that he gets in for a strike. Parra at the plate, runners at first and second, 1 away, 5th inning. Strop a tremendous season last year. Wore down towards the very end of the year. And a chopper that's going to be fouled. He's got great sink on the ball when he's working. If you hit it, it's probably going to be a ground ball.
You know, one thing he learned in talking to him over the winter, Gary, is the Baltimore Orioles were involved in something meaningful all the way towards the end. And that did take a lot out of a young pitcher like Strop. But he learned a lot.
And will vie for the setup job again for the Orioles. Check swing, he went around, got him. Strop gets the strikeout and a big one, and there are 2 down here in the 5th inning.
And those are things that have made him better because he's able to spin this one and get a very tough out on Gerardo Parra to commit. Commit with those hands early, and something breaking that late is tough to stop.
The Strop with a K, 2 down. Venezuela still looking for that big hit to get this ball game tied up. They've come back from 5-0 to make it 5-3. Marco Scudero, one of the reasons, picking up that double in the 4th inning, walked and scored in the 3rd.
He knows a thing or two about big hits, Marco Scudero.
Strop's pitch will miss outside for a ball. Octavio Dotel responsible for the runners.
At 500 during the NLCS.
Here's the 1-0 delivery to him. Fastball. It's there at the knees. And the count will go to 1-1. As this ball game goes along, the length of it, 50-minute rain delay, all these pitchers and pitches. Eric Cooper's strike zone, and I don't mean this negatively towards him, may get a little bit bigger in order to force things a little. That pitch is going to be outside, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Well, the one thing about Eric Cooper, though, at least he's kept it consistent on both sides.
Absolutely. Oh, he's done a great job in a tough game for home plate umpire. So many pitchers, and they've been all over the place in this game. 2-1 the count, 2 down. Runners off first and second base. That one goes to short. Anderson's got it. He'll go to second base for the out. Reyes to Cano, and that will retire the side. Scudero's out of there. Again, no runs, no hits. 2 more men are left on base, and it remains a 5-3 ball game. And underway here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Hanley Ramirez leading it off for the Dominican Republic. Is hit into a fielder's choice. He has popped out. Cruz and then Santana due up. Chacin, the 25-year-old right-hander, remains on the mound for Venezuela. That one will be bounced off the plate and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. A ball game with a little bit of everything and a long way to go, as these two teams who have developed a great rivalry, part of it because of the Caribbean World Series that gets played going back to 1948. That ball is launched. He knew it. Way back in left field. Hanley Ramirez. Goodbye, home run.
Oh, there's no doubt he knew it. And Hanley, who's been working so much on trying to get extension, no doubt got it there.
He stood and watched. And way back it went into left field. And a 6-3 lead for the Dominican and a big run. Just kind of gets them going again. Ramirez gets the big bomb here. Strike on the inside corner. Nelson Cruz.
There's the extension I'm talking about. He had been getting caught too much, hitting the ball too deep at times when he pulls it. Gary, not that time.
Major home run. The Dominican Republic needed a little fire lit underneath. They struggled. They got the runs in the first 2 innings and then have been put down since. Well, Venezuela had a chance to get this ball game tied up the last 3 innings and couldn't do it. 1-2 delivery on the way, and that one's high in the air to left field, but playable. Prado's there. He's got it, and Cruz retired.
The timely home run you mentioned, Gary, for the Dominican, but I think also for Hanley Ramirez. Those guys that like to keep the team loose. Years earlier today, team picture. They're doing the Fernando Rodney there.
I say they don't have a good time. Big cut, foul back by Carlos Santana.
And I'm glad you mentioned the Caribbean Series. This is a Caribbean Series type environment.
Caribbean World Series has always mattered. These teams that play here, it is really the same excitement for the clubs that make it as it is for the World Series for Major League Baseball.
I think about how serious Hanley Ramirez was taking this whole classic thing. He went to the Dominican Venezuela All-Star game this winter. He played for his ball club in the Dominican, and he played in the Caribbean Series that recently finished in Mexico. All because of this tournament.
It matters. It really matters.
He said getting ready was the key. Getting ready to play to not embarrass myself.
I think he's ready. Santana with a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Couple of walks. And the pitch will be taken inside, and the count will go to 3-1. He just has a way to work that count. Averaging 94 walks during his first 2 full seasons in the majors. Chacin's got to throw a strike or he won't go after it. Here's the 3-1 delivery to him, and he'll take it on a bounce, and he's on again. So 3 walks for Santana in the ballgame. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the World Baseball Classic, Inc. may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent. World Baseball Classic joining in Major League Players Association, Major League Baseball, the World Baseball Federation, and then all of the independent federations that have teams in the different countries all combined to make this happen. Runner at first base. Chopper will go to short. Andrus one. Relay by Scudero. Nice pick at first base. And that will double it up. So a little help at first by Cabrera, who's shown in this ballgame. He's lost none of his defensive abilities. Going from third back over to first. Long ball by Hanley Ramirez, and 6 runs on 9 hits now for the Dominican Republic. They take the 6-3 lead. We go to the 6th inning. Ramirez really clocking one, and fully enjoyed watching it leave the ballpark.
They used to call him El Nino. He's a young Marlin.
So Venezuela again down by 3. And the pitch from Pedro Strop, who stays on, getting the final 2 outs in the 5th inning.
So Tony Pena needs somebody to really take the ball by the horns here on the mound and give him some quality outs.
Top of the order. Elvis Andrus fouls it back. He is singled, 1 for 3, been stranded. 9 base runners have been left on by Venezuela so far in this ballgame. 5 of those in scoring position. Andrus will take the fastball inside, and the count will go to 2-1. Big house on hand here. Game number 1 here in Puerto Rico. They get to see their team play tomorrow as they will take on España, the team from Spain. 2-1 delivery, breaking ball, had him fooled. Locked him up, doesn't like the call. 2-2.
This guy, pretty good eye, and he knows this is not a strike. Jumped out of the way. And that one was not received well by Santana.
Reaching. Down the line in right field this time, and there'll be no play. Ends up in the bullpen. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count with Cruz giving chase. Cabrera, Asdrubal, and Miguel do up here in the 6th inning. Top of the order for the Dominican has been the stage setter. Reyes has scored twice. Ibar has scored twice. Cano has scored once. So they've gotten 5 runs out of their first 3 for the Dominican Republic. Asdrubal Cabrera has crossed the plate for Venezuela, along with Prado and Scudero at the bottom part of the order. Sandoval's got a 2 RBI double in the game for Venezuela. Did he go? Nope.
You know, one thing that Strop has learned as he's getting more seasoned in the big leagues is a little speed pitch. Watch this. Here it comes. And there's so many times, Gary, when we catch a hitter by surprise and get him out and not ready to swing the bat.
This one is playable down the line, and it will be a fair ball. Cruz over to get it. 1 down, 6th inning.
Speed pitching, man, that takes Gus, watch this. That's his regular delivery, which he used in the last pitch. But really, that can really set you up. Look how late Andrus was on that swing.
And how upset he is at not getting on base. Well, Andrus out of there. Here's Cabrera. He's walked and scored, struck out and flied out. Asdrubal Cabrera. He's the DH in the ball game. DH applies in all games in the World Baseball Classic. One after one and pops it up. Foul territory, and Ramirez is there and puts it away. And you can see how much this matters to these players now. We're in the 6th inning. Not as much laughter and a lot more disgust when they don't get on base because you're running out of outs, even though it's only the 6th.
And there's so much at stake here for Venezuela. Number 1, they have never beaten the Dominican in a World Baseball Classic game. And their country's going through a tough time right now, as Luis Sojo pointed out to us this morning.
They've lost their leader. Who's going to take over is not clear. He had been a big supporter of this ball club. They are wearing that in honor of Chavez. Hugo Chavez, president who passed away. And now they're down 6-3. And this is right where the Dominican Republic wants to see Miguel Cabrera. 2 down, nobody on. And the pitch will be taken down low. And the count goes to 1-1. Cabrera drew a walk his last time up, 0 for 2 in the ball game.
You know, Strop is not going to back away, and Cabrera is heavily loaded. We've seen a lot of pitches today.
1-1 delivery on the way. There's a breaking ball. Wow.
Wow is right. This is a knee buckler. What was that?
Just kind of dropped that one in.
Cabrera saying it's March 7th.
Yeah. 1 and 2. Cabrera was asking the same question. What was that? Buck Showalter smiling. Fastball will be grounded off, and it'll stay at a ball and 2 strikes on Cabrera.
I'll tell you what, he did it again. He'll just look at the sign. Watch him. Speed pitch. Nothing against that.
He did that last year as a reliever. We're so used in baseball to seeing relievers come to a complete set. They don't have to.
No.
And he got him. Cabrera in a swing and a miss, tags him out. And Strop with a big inning. He's got a couple of strikeouts. He retires the side in order. Watch the pitch. See, there's no stop there. And as Jose points out, that really can disrupt the timing of a hitter. So for the Dominican Republic, looking now for some put-away runs here. With Venezuela having battled back so well in this ball game. Here's Diaz to lead it off, the number 9 hitter. He is singled and lined out. Reyes and then Ibar at the top of the order, due up for the Dominican Republic. 6-9-0 for the Dominican team, and Venezuela 3-6-1. And the pitch will be taken away. Chacin on the mound has been effective since coming on, working in his last inning if he can get through it relatively quickly. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Took a little off the pitch. He's going to miss inside, and the count will go to 2-1.
That's a pretty good pitcher, that changeup, even though Diaz does not offer at the pitch. There's something the Rockies would like to see him continue to throw and experiment with.
Chacin with a 2-1 delivered, and he gets that one in there.
Threw it again, Gary. I think that's important for him. Just repeating. You saw the grip. Watch his glove as he releases. Nice action and arm speed.
Infield in a couple of steps, as is the outfield. 2-2 delivery on the way, and just missed outside. We were talking about how Venezuela's not meeting the Dominican. They met in the 2006 World Baseball Classic, and in the first round, Dominican Republic won 11-5.
That was back in Orlando.
Yep. Fouled away, and then in the second round they met again, and the Dominican Republic beat Venezuela 2-1. They did not meet in the 2009 World Baseball Classic. And Tony Pena would like to keep those numbers going for his Dominican Republic team here in this game.
I'll say it again. You win tonight, you move on. That's the way I see this game.
I agree. 3-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way. And a little off-speed pitch, fouled off. Good pitch, and shaking his head. De Arza, he's shaking his head because he's saying that was a heck of a pitch, and I did a good job fouling it off.
Is that why?
That's why. Because that pitch could have gotten it.
He's seen everything. The fastball, a couple of changeups, consecutive, and that slider.
Here's the 3-2 delivery again, and got him. Well, here's how we got here.
Robbie Cano goes the other way and puts the Dominican on the board quickly. He goes the other way again. This time a jam shot well placed. He scored Reyes. And Pablo Sandoval, 2-run double in the top of the third for Venezuela. And El Nino says hello and goodbye with that big swing.
And fouled off by the leadoff batter, Reyes, who's 3 for 3. 6-9-0, Dominican Republic, Venezuela 3-6-1. Cano, big night. Reyes, big night. And Pablo Sandoval's had a big blow with a couple of RBIs. 2 out of 3 for Venezuela. And reaching and foul back. Chassin right now is tough to time. Got a real differential going with that fastball and the off-speed pitches he's throwing.
And he has the ability to change speeds on that slider. And that's what happened with Diaz.
0-2 delivery on the way, and a chopper to second base. Got to hustle the throw, and he doesn't. Speed may have played a part in that. Scudero, he doesn't miss many. You got Reyes going down the line. You got to hurry, and he couldn't do it.
He is now 4 for 4. Scudero knows that's his only chance. Try to slide and then throw on the run immediately.
4 for 4 ball game. Base hit Reyes.
Consider Reyes was already 9 for 14 in the Blue Jays camp.
And here's Ibar again. Boy, what a job they've done at the top. Ibar's reached on an error of 2 fielders' choice plays. He scored 2 runs. Sandoval has been all over the place at third base because these guys at the top are getting on. Along with the Arza, the number 9 hitter, all speedsters, creating havoc for the defense. 1 down here, outside corner, strike call.
I thought Ibar was a little bit too anxious his previous at bat. He had Reyes at first base with 1 out and jumped on the first pitch, bouncing into the first baseman.
Decent lead, but not big over there by Reyes at first base. Now he extends it a step. Ibar will take the strike on the outside corner again. Didn't like the call. And the count will go to 0-2. Ibar having a word with Eric Cooper.
Chassin going to the changeup. This might have been a little bit high.
Ibar, big finish last year, last 2 months at over 340. And he had a red hot bat. Better from the other side of the plate on the year. He hit 336 from the right side. Reyes at first base. 0-2. And a good scoop made by Montero, and a ball in the dirt. A ball and 2 strikes. It's a double play situation, but for the infield, you got to shorten up even more than you normally would. Because with this speed, if you're going to turn 2, you really got to get to it.
You really have to think 1 out and then see how quickly you get the ball to the middle guy to decide I'm going to make a throw or not. Because in the rush, that could also cause a bad throw.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery, and that is swung on and missed. So Chassin will get his 3rd strikeout, 2 in the inning.
Did a fine job again pitching to Ibar and finally got him with a good running fastball.
So here comes Cano again. E2, 3 for 3. 2 doubles, single, 3 RBIs, and a run scored. Cano's dad, also a very fine baseball player, is one of the coaches on the Dominican staff this year, and has been seen with his son at the All-Star Home Run Derby. When Cano's participated, his dad has pitched to him.
Yes, he has. And his father is very confident. He is a bullpen coach for the Team Dominican. And he says he's very confident his son will stay on and finish his career as a Yankee.
Robinson Cano said, upon hearing that his father had said that, he said that, we'll see. High in the air, center field. A lot of room out there. 404 to deep center. Power is there. He's got it. That'll retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1. left on base. We've completed 6-game, 1 Pool C. And the Dominican Republic leading Venezuela. Last score 6-3. Fans having a great time over there and seeing a ball game that is still up for grabs. The Dominican Republic, your early 5-0 lead. Now it's 6-3, and there's the inbox for Venezuela.
Well, and this is a lineup that, as Luis Sojo told us earlier, any major league manager would envy. Rightfully so. But right now, so far, they've been quieted by the Dominican display of pitchers. But it is not over yet.
There's the big cat closest to you. Sojo, Luis Sojo, the skipper, right behind him. We'll get a new pitcher here and one added to the roster late.
That's Lorenzo Barceló, who did very well pitching in the Dominican Winter League, and he was pretty much a guy that they kept in mind in case somebody fell off the roster. And Jose Valverde was supposed to be on the roster. Valverde fell off, and Barceló stepped in.
Mexican League went 7-5 last season. He did appear in 1 game for Albuquerque, the AAA of the Dodgers. His first pitch here is in there for a strike. Pablo Sandoval leading it off. Carlos Gonzalez, Miguel Montero due up, 7th inning. Now the out's precious for Venezuela, down by 3. Good job by Pedro Strop, an inning and 2/3, 2 strikeouts, nothing else. Fouled off hard outside of first base.
There's one thing I'm going to do if I'm Tony Pena. I'm going to have my next pitcher ready to go right now. I just don't know how a guy like Barceló might react to these conditions here in the pressure.
In a long time since he has faced major league competition with San Francisco. They signed him in 1994 originally. Got one up in the air. They got hacked at shallow center field. Diaz is there. Will put it away. Sandoval's retired. 1 down.
Well, Gary, we saw the mystery of the baseballs earlier.
One of the great stories in this game. You can't play without a baseball.
And there's his runabout. Where are the baseballs? And looking at the labels and were they rubbed down or not? But Moises Alou sent us a message here to the booth. And what happened was early in the game, they could not find the game balls.
How's that possible? The game had started. Did they just disappear?
They were in a secret bag, and we saw the bag make its way across to one of the dugouts.
Perhaps there's a humidor here that we don't know about. Breaking ball misses down low. So that, if those who were watching earlier in the ball game, when we tried to start it up after the rain delay, there was another delay, and guys, people were walking all over the place. It was because they could not find the baseballs, the game baseballs, which is pretty amazing. Bob Watson is going to hear about that. Well, I'm going to make sure I tell him. He's here from Major League Baseball in charge.
So, quote unquote, game baseballs. But the game was going on.
There's Bob right there with that World Baseball cap on. That was so funny.
So thanks to Moises Alou for clearing things up for us.
Swung on and missed. Big follow through on the pitch and a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Carlos Gonzalez. His single came in the 3rd inning, 1 for 3.
And Alou, in case you did not hear early, is the Dominican team general manager.
Every game is different. You always see something new. I've never seen that before. Pitch is up high for a ball. And the count will go to 2-2.
Well, one thing for sure, Lorenzo Barceló would like to get noticed by somebody during this tournament.
Yeah.
And he's bringing it.
Yep. And the pitch taken away. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Santiago Casillas already up in the bullpen. What Jose was talking about for the Dominican Republic. So they're not going to wait. They got a 3-run lead, 7th inning, and a day off tomorrow.
I like this strategy right here. Presence in not being shocked by anything that might develop here quickly.
Here's the 3-2 delivery, and that's strike 3 in the inside corner.
Well, Barceló is bringing it. Nice push off, spin, Look how well he had this baseball and runs it back over the plate. And Gonzalez made it look like it was closer than anybody thought.
So 2 quick outs. Venezuela retired in order in the first inning by Edison Volquez, which is the only inning he got to pitch because of the rain delay, and then retired in order again in the 6th inning by Pedro Strop, and now 2 down here in the 7th with nobody on. The Dominican Republic has not had a 1-2-3 inning put up against them in the ballgame. Volquez would like to have gone a lot longer, but for the rain delay. Swung on and missed. That's a very tough pitch. He brings that thing down and in, huh?
He's got the size, and then as I was mentioning earlier, he's done a fine job learning this, hiding the baseball. Watch this. All of a sudden, it's on you. Ah, little Mexican League trick right there, buddy.
Who are you talking to? And a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Two down, bases empty. And a chopper towards second base. Nope. Got it. So another 1-2-3 inning. That's going to be 8 in a row that have been retired, believe it or not, by the Dominican pitchers.
Oh, we told you earlier about the mystery of the baseballs. This one we experienced in the first inning after the 50-minute delay. See the catcher Montero pointing out to the baseball. So where are the baseballs? Finally saw somebody reach into a box, which is not where you want to find the game balls, right, Gary?
No mud on those.
So after much haggling and trying to figure it out, as Bob Watson was on top of the situation, did a fine job with it. They were found.
Chopper is going to come right back to the mound. Encarnacion is out. Put that one on your replay machine because that may be the shortest hit ball Encarnacion will have in the entire season. One down.
That was a long swing. Got it right up the end of the bat.
Bottom half of the 7th inning. The Dominican Republic within sight of a Game 1 win here in pool play.
I wonder if Chacin will come up and in on Ramirez.
Ramirez, the home run in the 5th inning, and spent a lot of time watching it go. He's popped out and into a fielder's choice. Pitch will be taken down low. Ramirez got his home run leading off the 5th inning, and he got all of it. 1-0 count. Chacin will miss outside with a breaking ball, and it'll go to 2-0. Spain and Puerto Rico go at it with the full house sold out for the ball game tomorrow night. This round robin format for the first round of the WBC. 2 teams move on from each of the first round venues to play round number 2. One in Tokyo and one in Miami. The second round, and then on to San Francisco for the semifinals and final. 2-ball, 1-strike count from Chacin. Hanley Ramirez waiting on it. Catches the outside corner. 2-2.
That is one tight spinning slider. Ramirez way off balance on that one.
Had him stepping away. 2-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way, and the fastball will come inside. And that'll take it.
Sooner or later, that pitch was coming during this at bat. And I'm surprised it didn't come earlier.
Right in on the hands on him. 3-2. And just missed down low. So Ramirez will draw the 1-out walk here in the 7th inning. Chacin giving up his 2nd walk of the ball game. And for the Dominican Republic, take a look at the in-game box score.
Been a long one for Encarnacion and Ibar, but certainly Ibar involved in some of the pressure added to the defense of Venezuela. The big guy, Robinson Cano, table setter, and Reyes.
Now the Dominican Republic trying to hold on to that lead that was 5-0 after 2. That ball will bounce away down to second base, Ramirez.
You know, and all of a sudden you get the sense that Venezuela is just running out of gas here.
Yes, that home run by Ramirez was a big one because it came right after Venezuela had some chances, and now this ball getting away puts another runner in scoring position.
You sense some of the frustration after tough at bats. You see the dugout way too quiet.
There's 9 left on base, including the bases loaded in the 4th inning, have not helped Venezuela. And in fact, since the 5th inning when they left 2 on, that's when they have gone down 8 in a row. Here's the 1-0 delivery and swung on and missed. Dotel did a good job, ran out of gas, but got an inning in with a couple of strikeouts, 2 walks. Pedro Strop, great job, an inning and 2/3, gave up nothing and struck out 2. Really put the slammer on.
Boy, Strop was on.
1-1 delivery. That one's going to be bounced. And the count will go to 2-1 on Nelson Cruz. His RBI came in the 1st inning on a base hit. Has struck out and flying out to left field since. Ramirez off second base. Wasn't ready for that one. Fooled him.
It's 2 hanging breaking balls Nelson Cruz has not been able to connect with today. Texas heat in July. I'll say it again. What did you say was going to land in San Juan?
Yes. He was actually late on that swing.
Yeah, those are just little timing issues right now.
Yep. Chacin, 52 pitches thrown so far. 20 of them for strikes. That ball in the gap to right center. And that one's going to take the hop. And that wild pitch mattered on the ground rule double. It'll score Henry Ramirez. Cruz gets his 2nd RBI, and it's a 7-3 ball game.
Well, he may not be getting to the hanging breaking balls, but that's now 2 fastballs that Nelson Cruz has been able to extend on. And this one he hit it pretty deep, close to his body. Now standing inside the baseball allows him to get that type of spin and carry away from Parra. And there's been a lot of balls bouncing the Dominican way here tonight. Can't deny that.
So another runner at second base. And that'll be hit number 11 for the Dominican Republic. Boy, they just continue to pile it on.
Cole Hamels was right.
Yeah, beware. Here's Carlos Santana. We mentioned it before, but the exhibition games on Tuesday against Philadelphia, 15 runs, 28 hits in that ball game. 8-2 over the Yankees as they 13 hit attack against the Yankees, following up the 28 hits they had against the Phillies. It may be spring training, but those are no small numbers.
No.
Whenever they come up.
Cole Hamels gave up 8 earned runs in 2 2/3 innings, 12 hits.
Not a happy group for Venezuela. Fastball is going to miss up high. Santana's drawn 3 walks already in the ball game. In his plate appearances, consistent with what he always does. Soho is on his way out, not liking what he's seeing now. He's going to send his pitching coach out. They've got to try and keep this ball game within reach at 7-3.
Understand now the Dominican mentality, and we were talking about this earlier. The padding up the score situation. This is where you go for a couple more whenever you can, and don't be happy about where you're at. Because we know the importance the runs play in tiebreakers.
So Alvarez out to have a comment. We talk about the tie breaking because it matters as far as teams moving on. The first tournament rule, say both teams end up, two teams are 2-1 in pool play. Head-to-head record is the first tiebreaker, and then you get total runs divided by total innings on offense. It's a run differential is what it is. And that's why we're talking about the run differentials in these individual games mattering. And so you will run the score up just because you want to make sure you don't leave any runs on base that maybe later on in the pool will decide whether you move on to the next round.
As of Team Korea. And why did they not advance?
2-1 strikeout. Runner at second base, one away, and foul back by Carlos Santana. Two ball, two strike count. This Dominican team now, they just want to see, yes, some more runs, but they want outs recorded by Venezuela. Let's get this thing over with. Celebrate a victory. That's where they are. Fastball is going to miss up high. And a 3-ball, 2-strike count. For all the pitchers and pitches that have been thrown in this ballgame, the walks are not what you might expect. The pitchers for Venezuela, I think, have walked only 4. And for the Dominican, they've surrendered 5 walks. The way this game has gone, watching it, you'd think there'd been a lot more. No sooner said than done. Chacin surrenders the 3rd walk, 2nd of the inning. He's running out of gas, and so is going to come get him.
Oh, Gary, another outstanding at bat by young catcher Carlos Santana.
4 walks.
Laying up that last pitch makes it even more impressive to me.
And consistent with what we talked about with Santana. He's a big on-base percentage guy, and walks are a reason for it. So Venezuela will make the pitching change. We're in the bottom half of the 7th inning. The Dominican Republic on top 7-3. Well, the fun began early for this team from the Dominican Republic before the game. The players getting a chance to have a good time, including Reyes. Involved in some shenanigans down there on the field.
Former teammate Francisco Rodriguez with the Mets.
And for the Dominican Republic, it's continued. They've got a 7-3 lead and a chance to add to it. Coming on to pitch, Roland Belisario for Venezuela. 31-year-old veteran. 1 down, 2 on. And the fastball will miss inside. And we'll see whether or not Dominican Republic can add to their lead.
Belisario has one of the nastiest, heaviest sinkers. Deadly, especially against right-handed batters. My goodness, he can sink it up under your hands and shatter some bats.
Anita at the plate will take it, and to get ahead on the count 2-0. He's had a tough night. A double play the first time and a fly ball to right field with an out recorded at the plate. Then the second time to strike him out, throw him out double play. And then ended up in a 6-4-3 in the 5th inning. And the pitch will be taken up high for a ball, and it's 3-0.
And Anita's biggest contributions tonight have come with his glove. He's been quite busy out there in left field.
Cruz and Santana, the base runners. Here's the 3-0 delivery on the way taken. It'll be there for a strike. And missed. So that's going to load the bases. 2 consecutive walks here as Belisario walks the first batter that he faces. There you see the second round game underway. How about this team from the Netherlands? They are leading Cuba top of the second inning by a score of 2-0 in Tokyo.
They continue
Round two.
to believe and to pitch well too.
Kurt Smith has had a home run in that ball game for the Netherlands. Wow. And they are pitching well. Alejandro De Aza. De Aza with a single, 1 for 3, and a strike taken. Bases loaded, a chance to start closing the barn door right here for the Dominican Republic with only one away. And the sacks full with Cruz, Santana, Anita. And the pitch is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. De Aza, the number 9 hitter with speed.
You almost want to treat this at bat like you're behind. This is the opportunity to break the game open now.
Already 11 hits on the board. Chopped to first, foul. Somehow get the bat on that on a pitch that rode in on his hands. And a 1 ball 2 strike count on De Aza. Chacin, who's come out of the ball game, worked 3 in the third innings, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. He did a yeoman's work when they needed him. He threw 59 pitches in his relief appearance. 1-2 delivery on the way. That's the one. Into the right field corner. Cruz will score. Santana will score. Anita will stop at third. It's a 2 RBI double.
Everybody's pitched in. Number 1 hitter is 4 for 4. And this comes from your number 9 hitter. Now 2 for 4 with a couple of RBIs, and they could not have been bigger for De Aza.
That's the one they were looking for. Now it forces the defense to play in against Reyes, who's trying to have a 5 for 5 ball game. 1 strike on it. Runners at second and third. Still only 1 away. Belisario delivers, and the pitch will be taken up high.
You can see why Reyes will be chasing up anytime you have a sinker baller as good as Belisario. Your eyes light up when you see something above the waist.
WBC play coming into this year, nobody's had a 5-hit game. 15 times there had been 4 hits in a ball game by an individual player. Ichiro Suzuki did it last in 2009 against Korea, but nobody coming into this year's play has had a 5-hit game.
Ichiro hits, nothing new.
1 ball 2 strike count, and the pitch will be taken inside. Count goes to 2-2. Infield drawn in. Runners, of course, don't have to go here. 2-2 delivery on the way. Grounded to third. Runner will stay. Sandoval looks him back, and we'll get the out. So we're not going to have a 5-hit game either here, probably, unless the Dominican puts up some more hits and he hits again.
Okay. I thought you were going to tell me the other choice.
What was the other choice?
A longer game because of more innings.
Wrong again, Jose. Nice try, though. It can't be a longer game than this. We've had a 50-minute rain delay. Came in the first inning. Ball game that started at 7:30. We don't know how much of that delay is going to be credited to the rain and how much will be credited to the lack of baseballs. Yet to be determined. Here's Ibar to right field on the button, but right at him. Gonzalez is there to get it. Ibar is retired. That'll do it. But 3 big runs here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. And for the Dominican Republic, their lead is now 9-3. No, it's not a fire or anything. That's just a little cooling off mist being sent out to some lucky fans.
You sure?
9-3 lead.
Well, one of the chants we heard here between innings with Dominican fans telling the Venezuelan fans, you guys can leave now. That's bold.
Well, when you're up 9-3 8th inning, it is bold, but nevertheless, not too risky.
I think a lot of them have left already.
Santiago Casilla comes on to do the pitching. San Francisco Giants late reliever. Casilla working here to Martin Prado, bottom 3rd of the order for Venezuela.
You know, Gary, for all the great things that Sergio Romo accomplished for San Francisco later in the season and into the postseason, his teammates tell me this does not happen without Santiago Casilla stepping in for Brian Wilson when Wilson went down.
Obviously a big replacement needed there, and Casilla, the veteran pitcher, got it done for them. He had an outstanding season. Casilla ended up 7-6, but a 2.84 ERA, 25 saves, 31 opportunities for the world champion Giants. 2-1 strike count. Pours that one in on the inside corner, 2-2. The Venezuelan hitters are going to try and take pitches. They need base runners. Down by a score of 9-3 here in the 8th inning. They haven't had a base runner since the 5th inning. On a hit batter and a couple of walks, they haven't had a hit since the 4th inning. Last 8 in a row have been retired. A little bit more inside on that one. And a 3-ball 2-strike count from Casilla.
He's always had the arm. He's always had the nice push off with his legs. At times he gets pretty inconsistent up in the zone, but certainly he can bring it.
2. Sounded like he broke the bat on that one. Play made over to first. Ramirez, Encarnacion. One away here in the 8th inning. This is game 1 in this pool, of course, and a lot of WBC action coming up. Tokyo, 2nd round. Japan and Chinese Taipei, 2 very good teams, Friday at 5:10 GMT time. In Phoenix, Canada will take on Italy. They're in the 1st round there. Canada, Italy, the big win today. Italy 6-5, an upset over Mexico. And here in Puerto Rico, we'll be back to Spain, taking on the home team, Puerto Rico, tomorrow. USA will play Mexico tomorrow night.
No small enemy, as Tony Pena told us.
Yep.
Yeah, Mexico's got to be thinking, what happened?
They get Gallardo going against the knuckleballer Dickey in that ball game. Parra's 0 for 2. He is grounded out and struck out in the ball game. Gerardo Parra to be followed by Marco Scudero for Venezuela, trying to find a way to get on base now. As Dotel, Strop, Marcelo able to shut down this Venezuelan team over the last 3 innings.
And down by 6 runs, certainly you got to keep your mindset on hitting strikes and taking balls. Simplify it.
Here's the 1-1 delivery. Parra will foul that one off. Casilla's objective, throw strikes.
That's a Lou Piniella kind of thing, huh? You swing at strikes, let balls go.
Sounds so simple, doesn't it?
I was listening to Lou Piniella and Ken Singleton broadcasting the Yankee game against the Dominican.
1-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be put up in the air. Again, that big foul territory. But it'll end up a couple of rows back into the seats. And Ramirez, the third baseman, hustling down to try and get to it.
And Gary, I really enjoy listening to both of them talk about what an honor it would have been for them in their time as ball players to have something like the World Baseball Classic and be able to represent their countries.
I think that's what's happened, and that was the hope when the World Baseball Classic was started, that players would begin to feel that way and would, as we talked about earlier, would want to play, not have to be begged, not have to be called, but would be calling, and that's what's happened. And it just makes a world of difference. The WBC, I think, has caught on with the players. There was a little reluctance early, still is, from some organizations who worry about injuries to their players, but there's been no evidence there are any more injuries suffered in the World Baseball Classic by people than there is by pitchers who are working in, or hitters working in spring training. Yes, there have been a couple of instances where maybe the pitcher had stayed out of the World Baseball Classic. Maybe a year would have been different. Maybe.
Right.
But overall, it hasn't been true that there have been more injuries for players in the WBC. 3 ball, 2 strike count, 1 away. Barra will take the pitch inside. He is on with a walk.
You know, Gary, go ask a guy like Tony Pena, who caught for 19 years in the big leagues, and every single winter, what did he do? Go back and play winter ball. And Tony said, if you go out there thinking you're going to get hurt, you will get hurt.
The concern has always been more about the pitchers and whether or not they are ready to go full throttle in the WBC, and whether or not by trying to do so they'll hurt their arm pitching in the tournament. But I mean, overall, no, that has not been the case. Strike on the outside corner. But it is the thing managers are most concerned with. They definitely try and keep a very close eye on what's happening with the pitchers, and they have contact with the managers and pitching coaches of the Major League ball clubs, trying to get a feel for what the managers and GMs and coaches want, how they want their players to be involved here in the World Baseball Classic. So there's an attempt to get that done. And for Volquez, the starter in this ball game for the Dominican, just really too bad that rain came after an inning. We didn't get to see him pitch more because he retired the side in order in the first inning. Grounded towards second base. Right there's one. Hey, mercy! There's 2.
Showtime.
When you got Cano and Reyes, you figure something like that's bound to happen. Got a feeling you're going to be seeing that a few times more over the next 5 years.
Agreed.
Well, we talk about players being ready to perform, and the World Baseball Classic perform is what you just saw, ending that last inning. Robinson Cano will lead it off here already with a 3-hit ball game. 2 doubles, a single, 3 RBIs, 3 for 4. Yes, it is raining again. Juan Rincon has come out of the bullpen to pitch for Venezuela. And his first pitch will be inside for a ball.
That's what you call a little flash, a little street ball right here. That is just outstanding. Think they haven't done that in BP?
Oh, man.
Don't kid yourself. That's where it starts.
You either can do that or you can't.
That's right. But you got to start somewhere. BP, messing around, backyard, street ball. Tony Pena told us tonight.
Right. Street ball. Juan Rincon, he's had Major League experience, not though in the last 2 years. And a strike on the outside corner. Rincon working with AAA Salt Lake and the Independent League Bridgeport Bluefish last year. He pitched in the majors from 01 to 2010 with the Twins, Indians, Tigers, and Rockies. 35-29 lifetime record, 444 career appearances for Rincon. 2-1 delivery. Cano will foul that one back. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Well, Cano, who really took his passion into a new responsibility for Team Dominican, has not disappointed as a team leader. That double for 2 runs in the first inning pretty much relaxed the whole ball club.
Reyes and Ibar got on ahead of him, and he brought him home. 2-2 delivery and a big cut. And Rincon will get the strikeout. Netherlands and Cuba are underway. They now a 2-1 lead. Netherlands trying for another upset. They're playing in Tokyo, second round action. 2 teams to come out of that second round. And the Netherlands with the early lead. They had led 2-0.
Alfredo Despaigne, another long home run for the Cubans.
Cuba came into this WBC really unknown. I mean, that's been the case in all 3 World Baseball Classics, but this year, with all the defections they've had over the years, you really didn't know what they had for players. But they've always had good ones.
Yes, they have.
And that hasn't changed. And Encarnacion looking for a base hit, couple of strikeouts, sac fly, RBI, and he's grounded out.
Just think about the Yoenis Cespedes that we saw playing in Mexico City. For Cuba in the WBC, is the same guy that was so productive as a big leaguer for the Oakland A's last year.
Rincon will miss outside with it. 2-ball, 1-strike count. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Here in Puerto Rico. In the first game of this first round pool play, Pool C. And that is in there for a strike. Anthony's 2-2. There is Fernando Rodney warming up in the bullpen.
Get your arrow ready.
2-2 delivery. Chopper. Not going to be an easy play. And he's on. Probably a base hit. We'll see.
And probably not the way Encarnacion envisioned it for his first World Baseball Classic base hit. But once again, that wet turf plays a role in allowing the Dominican to get another run aboard.
13 hits in the ball game now for the Dominican Republic. Encarnacion is on. Here's Hanley Ramirez, who delivered the home run, the only one of the ball game in the 5th inning, leading it off. He scored a couple of runs, reaching on a walk in the 7th to get the other. 1 for 3 at the plate, and he will foul that one away.
See that foul ball right there? That is a Hanley Ramirez swing that he had on a consistent basis when he won the batting title back in 2009. Hit .342. That swing of staying behind, hitting the ball the other way a little bit more.
He's got some power. That fastball is right there, and the count goes to 2 strikes. Rincon against the 29-year-old Ramirez. Sent over to the Dodgers, where he picked his pace up after playing with the Marlins. Bouncer, good stop made.
You know, Gary, and it is a big year for Hanley Ramirez as he's trying to get back to being a dependable shortstop. He is not quite there yet. Working really hard and getting his feet under him once again because of the transition he had to make last year at third base. Affected the way his feet were set up, the throw, everything.
Miguel Tejada, the veteran, watching on the bench. 1 ball, 2-strike count. And the pitch is going to be taken up high. Montero behind the plate on the pitch before caught one right on that bare hand.
No matter how much you try to cover, he just cannot cover everything. You see the welt right on his right wrist on Montero.
Already. 2 ball, 2 strike count of Ramirez. Ground ball to first base. Snag Cabrera. 1. Relay pitcher cover. Nice play. Rincon gets over to cover. They double it up. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Venezuela's got 3 outs to work with. We go to the 9th inning. Dominican Republic leading. No, it's not that his hat's on improperly. It's just that he wears the hat improperly. Fernando Rodney coming on to finish it off.
Can somebody go out there and just straighten it out just a little bit?
How does he get the correct aim at the plate? Gotta have good peripheral vision. It's still raining, obviously, here, and again has become relatively foggy, and it's raining fairly hard. So Rodney will try and finish this one off in a hurry. 9-3, top of the 9th inning. Dominican Republic on top. They'll face the top of the order. Elvis Andrus, Cabrera, and Cabrera due up as Drubel and Miguel. And the fastball will miss for a ball down low. Andrus has had a 1 for 4, a single. The leadoff batter for Venezuela. They picked up 3 runs on 6 hits. But again, they have not had a hit since the 4th inning. Base winners since then have been by a hit batter and a couple of walks. 2-0. Been a disappointing night right from the get-go, with the Dominican Republic getting 5 runs in the first 2 innings and jumping out to that lead. Venezuela made it 5-3 at one point, but their inability to get key hits after that and leaving men on base caught up to them. And they've not left anybody on in the last 3 innings.
As you kept saying, Gary, they had so many opportunities, 1 hit away.
And a fastball from Rodney that is going to be in there for a strike, and the count's 3-1.
In that case, credit Tony Pena and the Dominican pitchers, because they made the pitches where they needed to.
Pena's ball club looking for the W. Rodney gets it in there, throwing the fastball. Fernando Rodney, the comeback player of the year. 48 saves, a .60 ERA in 76 games. Just amazing. 3-2 delivery. Peter fouled off.
He put together one of the best seasons ever, not just for a reliever, for any pitcher. And for a guy that had been discarded by a couple of organizations, become an all-star, he was absolutely remarkable.
3 ball, 2 strike count. Big chopper will go to second base. Cano records the out. Anderson is retired, 1 away in the 9th inning.
Looking at tomorrow's ball game, Puerto Rico will make his debut here in Pool C, Game 1. Giancarlo Alvarado for Puerto Rico, and Sergio Perez for España. And it should be a packed house here in Irán Bithorn in San Juan.
And the fastball will miss outside as Drubel Cabrera. Cabrera drew a walk, scored in the 3rd inning. Sandoval's got a couple of RBIs for Venezuela. Another run scored on a wild pitch. And those are the 3 runs Venezuela split up. They got 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, and that's as close as they were going to get. The Dominican Republic has continued their barrage with the 2 exhibition games played against Philadelphia and the Yankees. Put this game together with it, they've scored 32 runs in the last 3 games. .30 count. Rodney struggling a bit, got behind Andres, but got the out, gets behind Cabrera and walks him on 4 straight.
I'll tell you, Gary, it takes sometimes mechanical adjustments, but for a guy like Rodney, who's always had the stuff, has been very inconsistent throughout his career, at times dominant. It took more communication from his manager, Joe Madden, and explaining and clearing things up for him, and from Jim Hickey, who does not get the credit he deserves as a pitching coach for the Tampa Bay Rays. Communicating with him.
Yep.
Basically, that was it.
What a difference it made. And a big swing by Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera's had a walk in the ball game, but an 0 for 3.
Rodney has got the whole Dominican dugout laughing. After the big swing and miss, Rodney kept staring at Cabrera. Look at this.
Cabrera's just trying to drive one to another island. 2 big cuts, 0-2.
Ibar's laughing because Rodney just told Carlos Santana, hey, you know what? Fastballs from here on. He just heard, hey, fastballs. Street ball, isn't it?
That's what we were talking about earlier, what was talking about this morning. That ball's going to be fouled back.
He backed it up. He told Cabrera, fastballs, here we go.
Hit this.
And for a guy that has a devastating changeup, maybe a decoy?
0-2 count. Oh, 2, 1 down. Obviously not holding the runner as Dribble Cabrera. And a towering fly ball to right field. Hit deep. Cruz back at the wall. Warning track calls it in. 2 down. Disappointing night for Cabrera. 0 for 4 and a walk.
Yeah, it's easy to relax and have more fun when you're up by 6 runs facing Miguel Cabrera.
So 2 down. And here is Sandoval. The 2 RBI double came in the 3rd inning. He's got a 1 for 4 in the ball game. Two down. In the dirt. Bounce stopped.
You know, Gary, as we talk about the 2 powerhouses, forget about Team Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah.
A team on a mission, too, who has made it to round 2 both times.
They've got a quality team with a lot of major league players involved there as well.
Yeah, now led by Edwin Rodriguez.
And they'll have the home crowd on their side, a sellout for their ball game against Spain tomorrow. That ball to short. This ball game's over. Reyes hauls it in, and the Dominican Republic has come away with a 9-3 win over Venezuela to open up Pool C play here in Puerto Rico. And they did it in pretty convincing fashion.
Yes, they did, and they took a little bit of everything. Dominican capitalized on mistakes early in the ball game by Aníbal Sanchez, but certainly, Gary, what we saw here is a relaxed ball club. They brought urgency into this game. We saw the energy they brought into this game, and also the focus that manager Tony Peña wanted to see in Game 1.
What they did not show in 06 and 09, they showed here tonight. A desire to come out early and win. Rodney gets to go through his signature.
Shoot the star. Then he says, watch it fall.
Game over. And it is. There you see the score in the 4th inning. Ball game underway. The Netherlands still leading Cuba. That would be a big upset if they can pull it off, playing in the 2nd round in Tokyo. Miguel Cabrera, tough night for Venezuela. Tony Peña, Dominican Republic, very happy with what they got done. We will be back. 1st round action tomorrow. Spain, Puerto Rico. Both of these ball clubs, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, will have the day off tomorrow. But the Dominican Republic has put themselves in a very good position to move on in this 2013 World Baseball Classic. Once again, our final score, 9-3, the Dominican Republic over Venezuela. Coverage of the 2013 World Baseball Classic will continue tomorrow here in San Juan, Puerto Rico and Spain, 5:30 Eastern, 22:30 GMT time. For Jose Mota and all of our crew, I'm Gary Thorne here at B. Thorne Stadium in Puerto Rico. We thank you for joining us. Some of the sights and sounds of Game 1 in this pool play. Adieu, adieu.